Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host and fearless leader of the hashtag Stand With Vic movement, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small solo practitioner, drunken lawyer in central Minnesota. And with me today is a guy I'm just getting to know over the past few days, Hero Hei. How's it going, buddy?
It's going well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And hello to the viewers. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining me tonight. I was telling Hero before the show started that I was actually really relieved. He reached out and asked if I wanted to talk about the update to Vic Mignogna's GoFundMe page, which I do. I didn't even think about talking about it. I was trying to figure out a stream topic for tonight, and I do have one, which, you know, we'll start with the Vic stuff, and then if you guys want to hang around for some comfy talk about Trump's full automatic assault kiss, his weaponized lips that he's being sued for. Sound familiar? Weaponized. I think it's even an attempted kiss, but I don't know. We're going to read that story. And then Crowder has been DMCA'd and has a channel strike for his live stream coverage of the Oscars last night. So we'll look at that and get into that as well. But first, Hero, you did a video on this, right? Like, you've already covered it?
Yeah, okay. I covered it a little bit. Just talked about the update on the GoFundMe, link to GoFundMe, talked about that briefly, and then briefly discussed the information that the firm has on their website and posted about the stream, because I know you, obviously, well, you can talk about at least, have some more information on that.
Well, I have some, I guess. What I would like to know is what do you I have not had a chance to watch your video. It's up now?
Yeah, it's up now. Yep,
okay.
Came out about an hour ago.
Okay, so I will. Oh my God, how terrible!
It's like 10 minutes long. I mean,
no,
I don't want to watch it right now.
No, well, I will link it in the description
cool.
at the close of the show, so people can check it out. Or you could just, I mean, if you're nice, you could just go sub to Hero Hei, and you could check out his channel, and you can check out the show for yourself. But
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't we? Do we want to talk about? Let me pull up the GoFundMe, which I heard just cracked $70,000.
Oh wow, 70K! Yo, everybody, good job on that. Holy smokes!
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now, and then I'll bring it on the whatchamacallit,
on the screen share. Yeah, I'm not really gonna mess with that because I don't even know how that works. So
no, I'm just gonna. I'll do it the cheesy way.
I just had to say that.
Let's see, $70,165. Okay, wow. So I'll just I'll make this window digestible and bring it over here. Here is the. You won't be able to see this, Hero. Or wait, I guess I could. I don't want to do it that way.
I mean, it's okay. It's the GoFundMe, right?
Yeah, it's the GoFundMe.
71K. Wow.
Yeah, no, 70,165. So
70. Okay. 70,
not 71K yet, but again, really brief shilling of this thing. If you are able, if it is within your budget, if you are not putting yourself at a financial disadvantage, if you also believe that people have a right to confront their accusers before being thrown off of the flipping earth, and if you are a fan of Vic Mignogna or any one or number of those things, please consider donating to the GoFundMe. I think if we can reach that 100,000 goal, believe me, trust me on this, Funimation knows where this GoFundMe is. Funimation and their counsel and their executive team knows exactly how much support has come in for Vic. They see it in their Twitter analytics. They see it on their responses that they're getting. They see how badly the other voice actors are doing. I mean, imagine having 20,000, 30,000 Twitter followers and getting ratioed on almost every post. It's embarrassing. They see that happening. They see that when Vic puts out one statement, just one quiet statement saying he's got legal counsel and a GoFundMe, that it skyrockets up and passes the allegations of sexual assault in likes and retweets. They see that, guys. They see this. So if we are able to hit that $100,000 goal, it sends a clear message to the voice actors, to Funimation, to Rooster Teeth, to Sony itself, that Vic is here. This is legitimate. He's got support. I mean, this isn't just paying for legal services, right? I mean, that's the purpose of the money, of course, but the number of people donating, the 4,400 shares so far on the campaign.
Jeez.
Like, the number of people responding to this,
it's still trending, right? It's been trending the whole time, pretty much.
I think so. And they know that the number of people donating is a small percentage of the number of people who are on Vic's side. So believe me, it's symbolic. It is important. And every single dollar helps. Thank you so much. And if you can't support it, again, I would never ask anyone to support something that would put them in financial distress in any way. Share it. Just share it. It's huge, huge. That speaks almost, the same as a monetary donation. So, but we're not here just to talk about the campaign. We are here, of course, to talk about an update that some people noticed and emailed and messaged me about. Is that over here? It says Nick Rekieta on behalf of Beard Harris. Here is the update, which I have provided, and let me read that real quick. You may have noticed a change to the beneficiary on the page, and I wanted to update everybody on what this is and what it means. We have linked up the GoFundMe account to the law firm's IOLTA account. That's an interest on lawyers' trust account. I'll talk about it in a second. An IOLTA is a trust required by Texas law and laws of several other states, and the acronym stands for Interest on Lawyers' Trust Accounts. These accounts are designed to hold money temporarily on behalf of clients and are accounted for separately from the law firm's funds. There are actually strict rules about commingling IOLTA funds and general funds of a law firm. If you do that, just so you know, because I know this is a scam and a grift, according to very, very smart Twitter lawyers out there on the Kick Vic side. Just so you know, if you are to commingle funds from an attorney's general fund and an IOLTA account, you do run the risk of being disbarred or otherwise disciplined. They're very, very serious about these funds belonging to the client. They're held in trust, and when you bill a client and there's funds in an IOLTA account, you bill against those funds, and that's how it works. That way the client's not sending you a check every time you issue a bill. The lawyer's able to draw them from the IOLTA account. They're accounted for as income at that time. That's how this all works out, okay?
And Vic Vic is not directly involved with that fund, right? That trust, like Vic, that money, he will not even touch. It's all specifically for what you just stated.
Correct. Vic cannot have or does not have access to an IOLTA account. The IOLTA account is actually owned by the law firm, and it is accounted for separately. When I say accounted for, I mean like in their actual accounting, they have to keep track of everything, money in, money out of that firm, and it has to be attributed to a client and a specific matter. So
right. That spills a lot of the crap that the other side was saying. I mean, it's just some still don't think there's a lawsuit. It baffles me.
It's almost as if I didn't do this as a scam or a grift. It's almost as if attorneys especially are bound by strict professional rules of honesty against any sort of fraud. If there were any fraud involved, we would all be risking our licenses in the most public way possible. It would be the dumbest thing to do on earth. So there you go. I mean, believe me, anybody would love a check for 70 grand. Make no mistake. But I'm not giving up my livelihood for 70 grand. Like, I stand to earn much more over the course of my life than $70,000. Okay. So this is the purpose of these accounts. Any interest earned by these accounts gets forwarded to the state, and it funds legal aid programs. So the law firm doesn't get to collect interest on holding client funds, and the client doesn't collect interest on those funds either. The beneficiary shift indicates the senior partner of the law firm, Ty Beard. At the time, it said on behalf of Ty Beard, but they updated it now to Beard Harris, who is the named party on the IOLTA trust account. The firm is Beard Harris, Bullock, and Hughes, We'll talk about them in just a second. With this transition, the money will be moved into the IOLTA account and billing will be done against this amount. Again, any remainder will be donated to the Salvation Army shelter stated in the previous update. Please understand that the GoFundMe will remain open. You can continue your support until the matter is done. People are, or I get the word from Vic or Vic's attorney to shut it down. It will remain open. We still do not know the full scope of the process, which largely depends on the actions of any opposing parties. Thank you all for your continued support of Vic, and I look forward to updating you as more information becomes public. Nick. Okay, so that is the update on this.
So that's great news, guys. Can you believe that? Like, I mean, it's not unbelievable really, but it's just crazy that we've come this far when you compare it to like 2-3 weeks ago. Like, things are happening, guys. Things are moving, and it's not just because of Nick and me and other people on YouTube. It's because of all you guys, like we've all done this together. We've all put in the hard work and things are moving along. And it's just great to see that.
Yeah, it is really encouraging. It is a community movement. And to me, these things move beyond the individual targets. The individual targets, guys like Vic, they bear the brunt of the immediate fallout of this, right? He takes a loss in income. He takes a loss in his business reputation. His name is at some level forever tainted by this. However, the community loses too, because they potentially lose a voice actor or a personality that they love and want to see more of. Their products get changed. Even if you don't like I'm learning that I don't like most of the cast of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it sucks, right?
But not having those voices, there's something lost there. Even I know a couple of them have changed, and I mean Goku in Dragon Ball Super I think is not as good as Goku in Dragon Ball Z personally. I'm not a huge fan of it. I know people say it's more honest to the manga or whatever, but it doesn't matter to me. Like I have nostalgia with Dragon Ball Z, yeah. So hearing the change to Goku, even that small amount of change, it changes it. It makes it a little bit, it takes it away from that thing that you like. So it is a community effort, and it is the community that has to stand up for it. And I think this is important because I have to stress that what Vic is doing has not really been done. It hasn't been tried in this way for sure. And it has not been done effectively before. We don't see people come back from this type of allegation, especially with this type of full-on social media backlash. It's almost like there's an organized attempt to do it. I don't know what the legal term for that is, but any ideas, Hero? Is it?
Does it start with anime convention something like that?
Yeah, it's a conspiracy theory. That's what it is.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that crazy stuff? No way. Couldn't be.
Yeah. So anyway, again, I just want to say thank you all for your support on that. Now let's should we bring up the law firm's page? I have it pulled up here. Do you have it pulled up on your end at least?
No, I can pull it up though, yeah.
Okay, so this is Beard, Harris, Bullock, and Hughes, attorneys at law. They have an office in Tyler, Texas. They have an office in Frisco, Texas, which is a north suburb of Dallas. If you don't know, Frisco is a beautiful town, by the way. And it's booming. Frisco is booming. This is unrelated to anything. So this is them. And they have some nice little scrolling pictures with like diversity and stuff on them. But let's get to the attorneys. Ty Beard, Don Harris. We've got Brian Hughes, Senator Brian Hughes. So that's a Texas state senator that is on the law firm. Guys, this is not a legitimate firm at all. Don't worry. These are just backwood Hicks attorneys that no one's ever heard of.
I mean, half of them are not even attorneys. It's just photoshopped.
Yeah.
Off Google.
Exactly. Jim Bullock. We've got Carrie Christie, Craig Doherty, Christina Ross, and Susan Cawley. So these are all, I want to point out, these are all attorneys. They're all litigators. They're not these. Okay, so there's a different there are different types of attorneys, right? You might have research attorneys who are very like that's your stereotypical sort of introvert attorney, and these are very common. There are many attorneys who never go into a courtroom, never have a confrontational encounter with another party. They're prepared to. Don't get me wrong, they're prepared to do so, but their job is to look up things, to help prepare cases, to write briefs, and many of them can be very, very effective in doing that. And then you have sort of transactional attorneys. I write contracts. I write this thing. I do a lot of transactional work myself. You write wills. You write trusts. Things that are sort of one-off shots, or just like I'm advising you on this thing and providing you a tangible document at the end of the day. Then you have litigators. Litigators are your guys who go to court. Now, of course, one attorney like myself can do all of these things. That's what I do. But as you get a larger and larger firm, as your firm specializes in different areas of practice, you can end up focusing your practice a little more on an attorney by attorney basis. This is a firm of litigators, of fighters, and therefore you're not going to see the same legal approach that you've seen on other types like this. They don't move slow; they move fast. They in many ways can go straight for the heart because they are prepared to go straight to court if necessary. That's what litigators do. A lot of attorneys don't like to do that, right? They like to talk about things. They like to drag out the process, and it can be really, not that they like to, but they want to negotiate and stuff like that. Litigators, of course, can negotiate and do very often. But one of the advantages of having litigators on staff is that they are ready to go straight to war if necessary, and that kind of changes the way that talks happen prior to things being filed. So this is the firm. You're welcome to look it up. I would ask that you please do not contact them. They are new to all of this internet stuff.
That was my only concern, yeah, because it's definitely a lot of eyes on this whole scenario. So yeah, guys, don't just call them and don't give them a hard time. Listen, our side is not like that, so we probably don't need to say it, but we'll say it just to be safe. Just don't go doing that kind of thing. But I'm sure you guys won't anyway.
Right. But part of the process that I promised on the GoFundMe is transparency. I did get permission to update the GoFundMe and make sure that the firm's name was they would be visible. I warned them. I said, if I update this, this will likely expose you guys as to the public. And they said that is okay, and to go ahead and do that. So that is what has happened. It's almost like I'm not lying about any of this, and that I don't know how else to say it. I know it's a meme at this point, but people keep thinking that there's some weird thing going on and that reality has not come home yet. But reality,
apparently some of these people that should be on the defensive are not even taking this seriously, even still. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. They just wasted their whole weekend.
I genuinely think that the voice actors, guild, the VAGs, what is it? Would it be VAGs or VAGs? The voice actors guild would be. I genuinely think that they believe that Funimation and Sony will ride sterling white horses to their defense. I really genuinely believe that that's what they think. That one, they don't think that any of this is real, obviously. But two, they think that the White Knight squad of Sony and Funimation is coming. Guys, I don't know how to tell you this. I would not, if it were me and someone had been telling me for a week that I am potentially going to be engaged in litigation, I would strongly consider consulting an attorney in my jurisdiction. I can't. I mean, maybe they have. I don't.
We don't know for sure, I guess. I mean, they could be full of it. But given the history of what they've been doing this whole time, it would definitely not surprise me if they really haven't. I mean.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah. full disclosure, I need to say this for full disclosure. I do know Ty Beard. I do know him. I have met him. That does not mean that we have any sort of relationship that makes this inappropriate. I don't have inside info on Vic's legal strategy. I can't have that information. I am not Vic's attorney. I've stated that from the beginning. But if people were to like dig around, they might see that on Facebook, Ty and I are friends, and there's that's there. So I will put that out ahead of time. I know and have met Ty Beard, and that's that. However, Ty's discussions with Vic are between Ty and Vic, are protected by the attorney-client privilege, and I do not have access to that privileged information, nor would I want access to that information. So again, it's almost like we do this for a living. It blows my mind constantly, the level of stupidity coming from the other side. Like we this is our job, y'all.
And the funniest thing is, like, we don't even have to do anything half the time. We just sit back and they just like they tear they tear themselves apart. Like every day, it's surprising like what new madness is coming out from them, honestly.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. But anyway, so there's that. This is a competent and capable firm. They have 8 attorneys listed here. I feel like, I don't know for sure, but I feel like they actually have more attorneys on staff than this. But I guess we'll find out, or we won't. Who knows? Who knows what kind of statements will be made? Let's go ahead and check out their practice areas real quick. Let's center that. We've got asset protection. We've got business law, corporate compliance, entertainment law, employment law, criminal law, estate planning, family law, immigration, intellectual property, medical malpractice, personal injury, private equity financing, and property, which is a very broad skill set. And again, very important to have this sort of broad skill set. And the other thing I want to focus on is, these guys do represent businesses. They represent corporations. They have wealth of experience in both managing businesses, in litigating on behalf of businesses and litigating against businesses. They do mergers and acquisitions. They do major real estate deals. They do all sorts of stuff. This is not their first rodeo. They're not like a phone book defamation lawyer, and they have a very different strategy. Like again, highly prepared. And plus, thank you all who have sent me tons of discovery, tons of tons of evidence and clips and archives. All of that stuff is being sent over to them. That gives them a massive advantage on all of this.
They're gonna have a heck of a head start, honestly, with all that stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's look, these types of cases wreck careers in real time, and they don't take the typical responses, right? This isn't some random person who was defamed at one point in one article, and then we'll be dealing with this little blemish on their life for the next couple years. This is someone whose reputation has been systematically destroyed by anonymous accusers, by a bunch of hearsay from people. One of the main sources is of course Kaylin Saucedo, who has only said about Vic, I've met him 3 times and one of them was unpleasant. Whatever that even means, that's what she said about it. But everything else is, look at this other experience that I've taken no time to verify at all. It's insane what they have done to his reputation based on pretty much nothing.
They don't even acknowledge like the 15, 20 years or so that he's like put in and done so much good stuff and positive stuff and impacted people's lives in such positive ways. They don't even acknowledge that. It's just all like all these accusations, with no evidence coming up. And it's just, I don't know, it just gets so obnoxious to see that for me.
Yes.
But this man has had a very positive impact on so many people.
Yeah. And can just tell you personal stories from running the GoFundMe, from asking for this evidence. I get email after email from people, message after message, people saying, "Hey, I was close to suicide, and Vic helped me out." I mean, it's crazy. So anyway, this is the big news, I guess. Again, Beard, Harris, Bullock, Hughes. Do not go bother them. Let them work on the case in the way that they will. I think reality is fallen like a sledgehammer towards these people. And I hope we see some movement very soon. Of course, according to very smart voice actors who are employed by Rooster Teeth, who are named Shannon, of course, according to them, like, litigation should have been done weeks ago, apparently. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he has tons of litigation experience because, quote, he has signed a contract, which makes him massively important and obviously skilled in the ways of the law.
Oh God!
But
it's unbelievable. It's literally just unbelievable. Like, just looking back on all this, it's half this stuff just feels like it shouldn't even be reality, but it is. We're here.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I am very glad that things are moving along. Oh, and let me just say this. I can disclose this. Vic hired these guys a while back. Okay, this is not starting today. So when the funds that have been donated, billing has already commenced. That's part of how legal work starts. It starts with strategy. It starts, of course, before a lawsuit is filed. So, this has been in the works. These guys have been working for much more than just today. Today is just the reveal and of the whole scenario, and that's where we are. That's where we are. So, I don't know, Hero, did you have any questions or anything to add? Let me minimize this and we can talk to our faces again.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that was pretty much it. I just figured, we would kind of break the news and talk about what you can talk about, and you have more insight than I do. So, I mean, I think that might cover it. I don't know. I mean, we could take a look at the chat and see if they have any questions that we were able to answer, or I don't personally think there's much more to add, though.
We do have a bunch of chats to start going
read
through.
Some of those, we could do that.
I'll start burning through them. If you want to stop me at any time, do so, and then we'll make some transitions over.
Go for it. I'm gonna get some water. I'll be back in 10 seconds.
Sounds good, buddy.
Go ahead.
I'll get going. The Texan83 says, how long till the other side tries to paint Ty Beard as alt-right for NRA association? This would be more, but I give what I can to GoFundMe, and I thank you for that. I very much appreciate the GoFundMe getting a donation. I think it's tomorrow. Tomorrow's probably when it starts. I have to imagine that the VAs are not going to take this news lightly. Good luck, voice actors, the Voice Actors Guild. Good luck. You have to deal with reality, and you I guess you thought I was lying like an idiot. You're out there thinking, oh, he can't be serious. This is just some guy trying to steal people's money. Good luck. Again, the reality train's coming. Schwann's Gruberman. Hey, Nick, why not use new donations on Vic's GoFundMe as a super chat feature and have people ask questions there? One, because I don't. That's a weird sort of role.
It's not a good way of doing it for a lot of reasons, to be honest.
Yeah, it's one, it's cumbersome, and two, I don't want to mix a donation to someone as a reward or an exchange of some sort of good or service. Like a super chat is a trade where you pay money to have your chat pop up on the stream. What I do, of course, is I commit to reading all of them, even if it means everybody's gone. I'm just reading them at the end. So that's that. But
there's also the fact that YouTube takes their cut as well. So it's better to just put that there. You can support the creators, and we do what we can to push the news and all that sort of stuff. And you can support the GoFundMe, but you definitely shouldn't mix the if you're gonna donate to the GoFundMe, just go through the GoFundMe. If you're gonna donate to the creator, just go through that.
Yep, absolutely. Midnight Jazz, you're doing the Lord's work, man. Thank you. I try. The Walking Bread says, Nick and Hay coming in like JoJo's Pillarman. Awaken my masters! Sean Kennedy, thanks for giving us a way to help Vic, Mr. Nick. You're welcome. And oh, wait, I think there were a couple pre-show chats that I just realized. There were 3 that aren't showing up on my Streamlabs, so let me get those. Mr. DJ Fly High says, I bet after the beatdown on Shane, the Be There movement must be shutting down.
Hell yeah.
Well,
DJ.
Be there at Shane's hospital bed, I guess. Mr. DJ Fly High says, Rekieta Law, you have some cool headphones. What are those? I wish to buy ones like those. These are Logitech or Razer. I think they're G70s. I'm probably saying that wrong. They're Razer. They have a corded and cordless version. These are the corded. I don't know. I heard the cordless ones are really nice. Andrew War Snowboard says, all hail our glorious leader, Nick Rekieta. Yeah, that was the weirdest thing for me yesterday, was this guy says, you're the leader. You're the leader of the movement. Oh, all right. I guess. Sure. I'll take that.
You're an interesting dude. Very unique. Very unique.
Let's see. We've got Bagel Goose says, when is the next sacrifice on the blood altar within the La Macaw? You know, I wasn't wanting to, but some guy was desperately trying to get me to have him on. And so then I said I'd have him on tonight. And then he said, nah, I'll do it later, you coward.
Was that the dude with like 4 symbols in his name?
Yeah, the guy's a serial liar. He's got his own Encyclopedia Dramatica thing. He's been doing this for years. He's trying to get YouTube subscribers.
He really needs to find a different avenue to pursue, in my opinion. But that's just me.
I don't think this is the attention you're looking for. Okay, we've got Keck says, hey. That's hey as in you, not hey as in hey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what's up?
Hey, handsome. Who is your favorite chaos god? Also, is calling someone a grifter an opinion or slander? Who's your favorite chaos god?
Who donated that?
That was Keck7Go.
Who's my favorite? What's a chaos god, bro?
Oh, you need to do some more 40.
I know what that is.
You need some 40K lore, buddy.
Oh, it's 40K. Okay. No, yeah. I do know a little bit about 40K, but I don't know the different chaos gods. But I do know like the Chaos Marines, and I do know a bit about 40K, but I don't know the different Chaos gods. Sorry about that one, man. I apologize. 40K is dope, though.
We'll have to talk about it at some point, and I'll do it. So the basic rundown, and real quick, high level. Korn is the god of blood and skulls. Nurgle is the god of disease and pestilence. Slanesh is the god of pleasure and ecstasy and stimulation.
Is she hot?
They look like she looks like
what's her
horrific.
Name? What's her name?
That's Slanesh. Slanesh. SH. S should be a letter.
Oh, no, hell no. Actually, no. That's not. No.
And then, you don't want none of that. And then the final one is Sinch. He's the changer of ways. He's the god of change and transfiguration. So
I probably like the pestilence one the most. If I had to,
Nurgle is
probably Nurgle.
Nurgle is the best chaos daddy for sure. He gives the best gifts, so that's a good choice. Good choice. Nice. Okay, and is calling someone a grifter an opinion or slander? Probably an opinion, if we're being honest. If he said it, I was committing fraud or something, that'd be a different story. But these guys, whatever they're doing, it's just embarrassing for them. They're just denying reality to themselves. Okay, I know I'm new to you, to the Kick Vic side. I know I'm new to you, but I've been dealing with these. You're a drunk and you're a blackface lawyer for over a year. You're not going to shock me. Like you telling me that I drink is not news. I don't know if that's bursting your bubble, but I've been dealing with this stuff for a year. So you can go ahead and keep doing that and keep thinking that I don't know what I'm talking about and keep doing all this. That's okay with me.
They have to. They don't have any real points to make, so they got to do that kind of thing.
Right. It just tells me you're out of arguments, and I know you're scared. I know you are. Okay, next is Victor Phantasm. 2 minutes late, but Metro Exodus sexual. Hugh Janice says, Nick, I've been reading Wikipedia all day. I'll be on the show tomorrow to debate you. Sounds good, buddy. Ulron1 says, were you expecting last night's debate to get so hostile? Nope, not at all. I expected maybe 800 viewers, and because it was so lately announced, and the guy is nobody. So I expected nothing, just to chat. But, I guess that's how he wanted to play it. Sakaki Onzai says 3 things. 1, it's great to see Hero Hei on your stream. He's a great guy.
Thank you, bro.
I vouch for him and his waifus. Also, glad to see you recovered from the utter murder you did last night. Way to go, man. Also, Andy McCabe, criminal investigation. Oh, that would be funny. Are they doing that? That's hilarious if they are. Intimidator 108 says, I just want to give props to you, Nick, for destroying that knucklehead Shane, and shout out to you as well, Hero. And by the way, guys,
hey, what's up, Intimidator? Good to see you.
By the way, Shane doesn't, Shane may know Vic. Vic doesn't know Shane. So, I guess that's embarrassing. I know him. We're close. Never heard of this guy. You must have made quite the impression there, Shane. I guess, please stay away from children and everyone else at conventions, you disgusting human.
Dude, it really worries me that this dude is in charge of like conventions. Honestly, that's actually like scary, to be honest. I don't know if he's like how in charge he really is, but he does seem to have some level of power in some.
I mean, it seems like it, but having a guy who said, 20 years ago, we did stuff that wasn't okay then, but we covered that up. Wait a minute. I can imagine every other person included in we to say, whoa, speak for yourself there, pedo. That's them saying that. I don't know if he's a pedo, just so we're clear. But I mean, that statement was really creepy. Like, what on earth was he thinking?
It was. Did you see the tweet of him saying about raiding Zen's mom's house? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw something about that. I saw about it. I didn't see the tweet. Whose mom?
Ghost of Shell Zen, you know who that is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So he replied to Ghost of Shell Zen and said something like, paraphrasing it, it was like, those charges are sure adding up. Better, like, be careful what you say from now on. Wouldn't want your mom's house to get raided. This is off memory. Something like that.
Yeah. That was because Zen accused Jamie Markey of sexually assaulting her. Is that right? Is that
right? Yeah. So I think there was probably some tweet about that, and he was replying to that.
Yeah, not a good strategy. And I'm not going to tell cons what to do, but I mean, if I was running a convention and that guy was running my public communications, like, I'd be like, whoa, what are you thinking?
Seriously? Oh my God, yeah.
Why would you go on that guy's show? What are you thinking? We don't want, especially if they're a Kick Vic convention. Yeah. And I should I talk about this? There's a con in Amarillo in a couple, not this weekend, but next weekend. Confirmity, something like that. I can't remember the name. If anybody in the chat knows it, can you share it? It's Amarillo, Texas, the 8th to the 10th. They have invited me, a humble YouTube lawyer, to come speak at a panel about the Vic Mignogna situation. I am very much trying to go. There's some things in my personal life which are just making the decision take a little bit longer, but I hope to have an announcement on that very soon. That's
when you said?
That's the 8th through the 10th of March. So not so not this weekend, but the next weekend. And if any of you are there, and I will announce if I'm going very openly. If any of you are there, please come say hi, shake my hand. I'll give you a hug. And if you want, I'll kiss you on the cheek.
That's awesome that they reached out to you, though, and they'd want you to talk about this whole thing, because most conventions are not, seemingly open to that idea.
Community. Yes, community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Community festival.
So
that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, so if I can make it happen, I will. I really, really do want to. But I just, like I said, there's some variables that have come up over the last day that make it a little complicated. So I'll be announcing that as soon as I can, hopefully in the next couple days. Automata says, I saw Twitter doxed your middle name, Robert. I'm worried. If they say it backward, do you lose your lawyer powers? Nothing can take these lawyer powers away. Scary things are scary / #rum lawman. Thank you. I'm more of a whiskey guy, but I do have some rum on the shelf. JD 1989 says, Nick, the debate last night was legendary. You torched that man like Sherman torched Atlanta. Well done, good sir. I like to think he torched himself. I think he torched himself.
I mean, you definitely torched him a bit too, but
well,
he definitely,
you know,
he fell on his face.
Let's see. Michael Mascarena says, hi. I'm a Twitter lawyer that graduated from the University of Wikipedia. I would like to disprove all of your videos with baseless accusations. Kidding, please don't destroy me. I never would. I never would. Even if you seriously believe that, I will be cordial to you until you are discourteous to me. Comrail says, hey, Nick, I'm just wanting to finally catch you live rather than watching later. Thanks for championing Vic's case and giving us the legal perspective. Man, I really hope to give you some more legal perspective this week. I'm hoping that some things fall into place and we start to see some things happen. Again, now that the law firm is announced and reality is coming home to roost, then I think, you know, we'll see what happens.
It feels like some of these VAs. It's like when you're a kid, it's like you're literally like 4 or 5 years old and you're having like nightmares or something, and you pull like the blanket over your head to like pretend like, you know, count to 10 and then they're gone. It's like they think it's just gonna like disappear. Like if they ignore it, it's just gonna like not actually happen or something.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Victor Phantasm. Shout out to the boss, Mr. Metokur. Oh, hey, Metokur's in the chat. What's up, buddy? But tell us, Nick, how does it feel to make the internet wet? Well, flattering, I guess. You know, stumbling into things as usual. Nope. I don't know. It was really cool to see that many people watching. I mean, tonight, of course, is another huge stream, and I really do appreciate it. I hope the content keeps bringing you guys back. That's what I like to do. Entertain and educate in equal fashion. So as long as I'm doing that, and you guys are enjoying it, yeah. That's my goal in life right now. Marty Lund says the senator's own firm, dirty pool, old man. Sorry board pan boy. Watch out, pan boy. You wouldn't want Shane to find out that you're made of soy. That would be very dangerous to your health. Let's get hashtag potato debater trending, people. Olron1 says, could Shannon McCormick's tweets get Rooster Teeth in legal trouble? Has he dragged them in? I mean, again, I'm not running Vic's legal strategy, but if I was running Vic's legal strategy, Rooster Teeth would already be in and Shannon's tweets would not be helping, because that would be the avenue. And Rooster Teeth might want to think about this, and you can tell so many of these companies were founded by people who did not get proper legal counsel from a firm like Beard and Harris, who deals with corporate and business law, because they would have had policies in place saying not just, oh, voice actors' opinions are their own, because we know they're not. We know they're not. These voice actors have apparently significant impact on casting decisions, which takes them out of the realm of being just some voice actor and into the realm of having some level of authority. So I would be using those tweets absolutely to get discovery to Rooster Teeth's corporate communications and see just what was said in those emails or internal communication servers, like if they use Lotus or something. I would be all over that for electronic discovery. And guess what? That's expensive for Rooster Teeth to do. I've talked about this a little bit before, but electronic discovery, especially when you have a system like Lotus for internal communications, or if you're super boomer like an AOL Instant Messenger, Jim. But if you have to produce those communications, you have to do so in a way that the firm requesting them can easily search them. So you might even have to build unique software to do it. It gets really pricey to look for that stuff. And the fact that they haven't told Shannon to shut his stupid mouth is baffling. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know.
I mean, how would they not know, though, right?
Yeah.
They must know. They have to know.
You'd think so. Judicious says, read or tweet Psalm 109 for Vic as a Christian. It is such a perfect prayer for the events he is going through right now. You can do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not going to read it on stream because my Bible is somewhere over there, and I'm not going to grab it at the moment. But he does appreciate that, and I do appreciate it too. Siren Jag says, never apologize to SJWs for anything more than a typo. In fact, don't even apologize for a typo. Answer their calls for apology with another fist or barely tolerable humor like I do. That's the natural way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never apologize to an SJW. Never.
It will never, ever be enough. It will never be enough. Vic learned that the hard way, right?
It might just make things worse.
Vic made 2 statements that contained apologies. Even though he wasn't apologizing for what they accused him of, they took that as an apology and an admission and then said it still wasn't good enough. And then they spin
it. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say they always do. They always do it. Like,
and then they spin it. These articles. I'm sorry. I'll finish what I was saying.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
These articles then come out and spin the words in like the most manipulative ways. Like they literally, the headlines on some of those articles were just picking bits of Vic's statement. Like specifically, like they say like Vic is seeking God and counseling for his like sexual misconduct. Like the title of the article makes it sound so incriminating, you know?
Right. And that's not what he said at all, of course. But they will never accept your apology until you are dead in the ground. And even then, they will kick your corpse for a while before the many years go by. Unless you're Roman Polanski. Then you can sexually molest children all day and get all kinds of awards. But you're not. No matter who you are, you're not Roman Polanski. You don't get that. Cringe Lord says, the bones of Gamergate rattle in the wind. Gamers rise up. We warned you they would be coming. Comrail says, wanted to thank... What was that?
They weren't wrong about that.
No, they are coming. They're coming to every bit of nerd or geek community, whatever you want to call it. Comrail says, wanted to thank you, Nick, for what you do for his cause. I'm so tired of this mockery of justice. It is just sad that so many people can ruin the integrity of relationships we cherish as human beings. Yeah, and for them to keep pretending for a while at least that they were his friend was the most frustrating thing. Keck7Go says, how far will 70 grand go towards supporting 5 kids and your battered, abused wife? And I know Keck is saying that in good fun. That's why I laugh, because that's one of the accusations I got while covering Comicsgate stuff, is that my wife must be battered and abused. Of course, Jesus. because of the projection, right? These people project how they would act or how people around them do act. It's embarrassing.
I mean, if there's a wife I'm worried about, it's the dude you had on last night. I saw a girl in the back of his camera. That makes me worried, but I don't know if it's a wife or not.
I believe they are not married yet, but they are engaged from what I've heard. But I don't know anything about her. And again, she's just an innocent bystander in all this. I think maybe they had to have a long discussion after last night.
I'm just worried, that's all.
Yeah. Root Beer for Life Derp says, let's do this. Love how we finally came together. Alberta Logan says, this is a way better guest than yesterday. I agree. I agree.
Thank you.
Marty Lund says, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their wives' boyfriends. Hashtag kickback. Forever229, are you a vampire? I've seen you tweet nonstop all day. That is not true. I took a significant nap today. Ear Juice says, why is Vic's best friend Shane posting mean tweets about Vic's official creepy song and paying him out about all the cons he's dropped from? What? That's because he's a liar. I mean, that's pretty much apparent. And he would have admitted he was a liar if his Discord would have told him he was. Moist...
yeah, he was just taking, like, literally feeding him the dialogue.
Yeah. Let's see. Ear Juice. Oh, no. Moist John. That's a disgusting name, my friend. Hey, WTF, what contract did they interfere in their business defamation for future prospects? Got him! You got him! Veggie Bad says, Shane loses $2,000, cries off stream over super chats, and goes on a huge block fest. That's not an L, folks. That's a W. Klondike Pete, congrats on smashing 35,000 subs. Thank you very much. Last night was such a barn burner that I stayed up for the whole thing, then called in sick so I could sleep in. Well, don't do that all the time, buddy, but I appreciate it. Scary things are scary. Absolutely. Heroes to the end, hashtag Full Metal Army.
What's up, Scary? How's it going, man? Thank you for tuning in, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Quantum Videos. Says, like I said, I'm happy to help you as an artist, Nick. Thanks for leading the fight for Vic. Please explain your thoughts on Anime Gate. I don't know if I like Anime Gate. I know it's sticking. I kind of like Weeb Wars better. What do you think about that, Hero?
I don't know. Yeah, the gate does have somewhat of a stigma behind it. That's like the only problem. But I mean, there's definitely that. It's becoming that sort of scenario. Like, you know, as much as this has messed Vic up, it's also exposed like a greater picture of issues where people at the top are abusing power and manipulating things behind the scenes. So, I mean, it does fit in a way, but I wasn't involved in Comicsgate, so I don't really have that same experience that you do. So, I mean, what do you think?
I like Weeb Wars better because I think it's a hashtag that both sides can adopt, and it puts the focus, like, you don't have to do the two different hashtags in the same thing to get all the attention. Anime Gate. You
mean like the Kick Vic and the I Stand with Vic, or what do you
right? Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in Comicsgate is Comicsgate, and then because they adopted the term Comicsgate, there's Comicsgate and then anti-Comicsgate.
Oh, okay.
Which, very creative. I just like Weeb Wars. Weeb Wars goes better for me.
The only problem with Weeb Wars, I mean, it does have a nice sound to it, but the only problem with that is that a lot of the people on the list are not really weebs. Like,
sure.
They're just, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the only thing that's a little awkward about that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should force it on them.
Yeah.
And who knows? But I do want to briefly announce something. In Comicsgate, this is not me announcing a breaking story. Apparently, Ethan Van Sciver, Grand Caesar, daddy of Comicsgate, the leader of Comicsgate, and Ethan, I'm going to challenge you as now leader of Weeb Wars, I guess, for leader. We'll have a leader fist fight sometime. He has announced that he and his legal team are pursuing avenues of legal action against two Twitter harassers, serial harassers. I believe he said two of them, which I can only imagine to be Lauren Ocasio, not Ocasio. What's her stupid name? Renfamous, whatever her name is. Renfamous, and who has popped up in Weeb Wars as well. And I believe the other top target is SJW Spider-Man. So I will be, of course, man, if legal action happens against those two fine, upstanding citizens, I will be there to defend them against the mean Uncle Ethan with unbiased coverage coming out of the woodwork. We will talk about the crimes of Ethan Van Sciver and going after these two living saints.
Living saints. Oh, yeah.
Only standing up for truth and justice and not calling people Nazis and rapists all day long, every day, constantly to close whatever wounds are on their soul.
I mean, I don't see why they would lie about any of that stuff.
No,
they never lied. Yeah.
Again,
actually, I don't know the second one though. What was the second person?
He's a nobody Twitter harasser named SJW Spider-Man. Yeah. He's been particularly vile towards. There's a lot of vitriol, right? Even in this anime weeb thing, there's vitriol on both sides, and there's a level of vitriol that we can accept. We can say, you know what? There's gonna be some heavy feelings. There's gonna be some mean words and stuff back and forth. That starts to end when people start getting swatted. Two comic people were swatted in the past 2 weeks.
I did hear about that, yeah.
Right. You got Peter Samedi and then Edwin Boyette. Peter was neutral, attempting to be neutral on the Comicsgate thing and just sell comics like a business person. That wasn't good enough for the anti-Comicsgate crowd, and they actually months ago they bullied him so much to the point where he was on the brink of suicide one day, and then to have him swatted while he was live on stream
wow.
2 weeks ago was crazy. And then finally, Edwin Boyette was swatted just 2 days ago, and he's Edwin, again, an outspoken Comicsgate supporter, but it's going too far, and these people are dehumanizing people on Twitter to the point where it gets dangerous.
Do you know how they found their address? Did they just get doxxed, or was there more to it? Do you know by any chance?
I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe I can convince Edwin to come on the show and talk about it. I would love to get more info, because I just, there's so much going on, and I've been very focused on the Vic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to cover every day. There's like multiple things you could be talking about regarding that.
Right. And of course, someone says, don't forget Ian Chungus. Ian Miles Chung, of course, did the same thing to Andy Worski several weeks ago, although that was unrelated to, that seemed to be more personal than what's been going on in the comics community. So, but yeah, so I'm very happy to see that Ethan is pursuing legal action, if only because I get to criticize the season. And I'm just kidding. Of course, I'll be covering it and talking about anything that comes out of that. And I'll try and get Ethan on the show to talk about what he can and explain what's going on as soon as possible. Let's read Super Chats for 3 more minutes and then kind of move on for a bit, because I hate just reading. I mean, I love just reading Super Chats. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they're coming in, so it's good. But right. I feel you.
But wait, people keep telling me to invite Jim. I don't have a line to Jim. So if Metokur, if you want to come on, buddy, have your friend Mr. Anti-Bully message me, and I would be happy to have you on at any time, of course. But it's up to you. I know you like to watch in the background as dumpster fires burn. So you're invited, but you have to let me know, because I don't have a way to talk to you. Okay. Hautengeki says, hey, Nick, as a dickhead who is also an anime, it's been amazing seeing the goodwill you've helped foster within the weeb community. Hope to buy you a drink at a future Road Rage GFY. GFY right back to you, buddy. And I'd love to take you up on that. Zero, and I'll buy you one back. Zero the Slayer says, blue face paint on floor for Vic. Yeah, that's a Braveheart, I'm guessing, reference. Akasit says someone.
Okay. I was like, wait, what?
Someone needs to create a GoFundMe alternative just for culture war lawsuits. Oh, guys, I forgot. IndieGoGo is being sued by Vox Dei. I talked about this with Vox on the show. That is still moving along. And can I briefly talk about this? Hero, are you familiar with this at all?
No, you can talk about it. Let me give a quick shout out to Jordan. What's up, man? I just saw it in chat.
Yeah,
tell me what's up. What's going on with that?
Yeah, and anytime you want to stomp all over me, do it. Do not hesitate. Right. Do not hesitate. Right.
You got it then. All right.
Okay. So Vox Dei is a very controversial figure because he's called he's stated that Anders Breivik, the guy who murdered a bunch of people up in Norway, may one day be remembered as Saint Breivik, and that made people really mad that he would say that, and they considered it an endorsement of the killing. I don't know that Vox thinks about it that way, but people will always think whatever they're going to think. But Vox, and if you're new here, again, I've got a ton of new viewers and new subscribers over the past couple weeks. I interviewed Vox about this just a couple weeks ago, and you can go see that interview and hear him talk about it. But his publishing house, Arcade Comics, his comic publishing arm, was publishing a comic called Alt Hero Q, which is a fictionalized version of QAnon put into comic form. Are you familiar with QAnon, Hero?
No. QAnon, no.
Okay, so QAnon is a poster on boards like 4chan and 8chan. I'm not sure which one, but QAnon has been leaking since Donald Trump's election, has claimed to be someone with a means to know about things and has been leaking things fairly accurately, I guess. I don't follow QAnon, but within the scope of what is coming from the administration. So he leaks that stuff, and no one really knows who QAnon is or if it's more than one person or whatever. So then Alt Hero Q is basically a fictionalized hero in comic book form that is affiliated with the right of the political spectrum. And they had crowdfunded through IndieGoGo an Alt Hero Q comic, and they had made something like $130,000 on this crowdfunded comic. And then IndieGoGo sent the email to Vox when the campaign ended, said, you're about to get paid out. You're about to get paid out on your thing. We're going to send you a check for $100,000 or whatever it was, minus the fees, right? Mm-hmm. And just a second. I have to go blank for just 1 second.
No, you're good. You're good.
You and I'll still be on, but I don't want to send this to the chat here. Okay, so we're back here. Sorry about that, guys. Q went on to, or sorry, IndieGoGo said the money's coming, and then within a couple days, IndieGoGo refunded all of their donors all of the money, and said, that they said whatchamacallit, that he had violated the terms of use. They sent that email out to all of the donors and backers, so like 1,000 emails got sent out that saying that Vox had violated the terms of use, and they pulled the campaign. So,
oh, wow.
So he sued them, and you have to sue IndieGoGo through binding arbitration in San Francisco, and he's in that arbitration process. I talked to Vox today. Things are moving along, but here's something all of us missed. I missed it. Everybody missed it at first, but of course, now that the arbitration's going, this is fair game. I have to read this. I'll bring it up on stream. This is one of those things where if you're a lawyer and you're involved in this type of litigation and you find something like this, you are the happiest person on the earth, because you realize just what a mistake your opponent made, and they don't even know about it. They don't even realize the mistake. So I'm pulling it up on stream right now. Whoops.
All right.
Gosh, I'm such a boomer. I'm so bad at this. Hello, Hal. How's it going, my friend?
How you doing?
Yo, what's up?
I'm pretty good. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. I've been watching since you went live, and I was watching last night, and it was a hell of a show.
Thanks.
Crazy stuff.
It was it was unexpected, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Do you mind if I ask? Like, I mean, was this somebody you just ran into on Twitter, or who was this guy exactly? The Shane, whoever it was.
I still have no idea who this guy is. I was on Twitter yesterday, and I mean, I get notifications in all these different threads about people saying, these guys don't have a case. They're all stupid, and their dumb internet lawyer doesn't know anything about the law. So of course, on occasion, I'll respond and just with simple things like wrong, 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 wrong. And this guy decided to fight back, and I've never talked to him that I can recall before yesterday. But he was on a tirade yesterday, and then he said, "Well, why don't you bring me on your show?" Ha ha ha.
What I found really, really interesting, aside from him Googling and using Wikipedia when he was arguing with you about legal issues, was like he felt so high and mighty. He was like, "I run 4 anime conventions, and if Vic will get on his knees and beg me, maybe I'll let him come back."
Yeah.
That was a weird thing.
It was disgusting to hear that, honestly. It really was. I mean, any convention that would seriously want Vic would realize that it's not them doing Vic a favor. It's they are having a huge opportunity to have Vic. I mean, barely any conventions are having him this year. If a convention like suddenly came forward, assuming Vic would be down, it would be huge for that convention.
I mean, not to mention that borders on the literal criminal definition of extortion. I mean, there's that problem too. Like, well, if you do these things, I'll do this thing of value for you, which is value also for him, of course.
Trying to get to sign contracts and whatnot. Huh?
Right.
Well, was he trying to do like some weird reverse psychology? Like when I watched a stream last night and he was talking, and maybe I'm misremembering this, but I'm fairly certain this was what he was trying to get at. He kept saying things like, "Oh no, I'm a big Vic supporter. I'm in Vic's corner. You don't understand. Vic and I are best girlfriends. We have sleepovers together and braid each other's hair, and all of this stuff. And I'm going to send an email to him right now. Don't you worry. Right when this stream is over, and he's going to come to all 4 of my anime conventions."
Yeah.
And then he's on Twitter today, basically, talking badly about Vic, talking badly about you, saying that he needs to, admit to all these horrendous things and be repentant. I mean, you trapped him really well last night when he walked right into it. He was like, "Well, Vic's basically got to, admit wrongdoing." Well, wrongdoing for what?
Right.
Well, yeah, that's not important. Well, I thought you're a supporter. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't. And when I mentioned what he's been accused of, he's like, "Look at how mean you are being to him." It's like, that's not my accusations. Clearly, that's the accusations of people that have been going on for the past month, and some would argue longer than that. That's what they're saying, and yet here he is, Vic's best friend, won't even name the specific thing he's supposed to apologize for, probably because he knows that he does not know Vic in any sort of way beyond he met him at a con. I mean, imagine if you met Vic in a hallway somewhere and thought, I know him, he's my best friend. Like that's how embarrassingly sad that guy's life is.
It borders on creepy. Like, yeah, he was acting like, oh, this guy signed an autograph for me once, so now we're best friends and I can talk on his behalf. And it was just really, really bizarre.
It was creepy.
Yeah.
It is creepy that this guy is in charge of conventions, or at least somewhat has power in some. I mean, that's just horrible to think about. And there's only one guy. I mean, there could be other people we don't even know that are just like that also in other conventions.
Right. Like, is he representative of what these people that are kind of coming down on Vic are, want him to do all these things and jump through all these hoops like some kind of trained poodle? Is that mindset this guy has? Is that prevalent among them all? Because it's really weird.
I can tell you, I talked to someone who claims, and it's Twitter, man, so you never know, right? But this person claims to have been a longtime associate of that guy, of Shane or whatever, and working the convention circuit with him, organizing conventions himself. So he has, what he says, 15 to 20 years of professional contact with Shane. And he basically said that he is fully believes that Shane probably is talking to the anti-Vic voice actors, and and that they may have had some involvement in whatever was going on last night.
Oh, I have no doubt. The way that guy acted, the way he went about the entire conversation, the things he said, he is 100% not on Vic's side. That's my take on it. I'm 100% not on his side.
The funniest thing is when he said the chat was on his side. Dude,
self-awareness has decreased.
Yeah, like how the heck did you think? How did he get that idea? He must not have even looked at the chat. Like if he even glanced at it for a second, he would have known that was not the case.
Right. I think he was talking about his Discord. I think he was looking at his Discord and like, no, they agree with me. Clearly, I'm winning this.
He might have been. He definitely used the wrong technology, but he seemed disconnected from knowing what was going on that whole time. So that would actually make sense.
And rumor has it, and I can't confirm this either, but rumor has it, his Discord was saying, "Shut up! You're doing this really poorly. You're doing terrible right now."
Actually, by the way, why does he have a Discord? By the way,
I don't think it's his. I think.
Yeah, it must have been.
Well, he's been trying to infiltrate the Rise and Bull Rangers, the Vic fan club. He's been courting / harassing the moderators. So here's this guy harassing who, by all accounts of everybody, the moderators of Vic's fan club are just underage girls that he has groomed. Right? So here's this guy. That's the accusation.
I'm just trying to picture this dude trying to go deep cover and blend in. Like, I watched him last night. Oh, can somebody explain how do you do that to a chair physically? Like, he must be shitting himself at least 10 times daily to melt leather off a chair like that.
Dude, you know what it is? He just doesn't get up. He probably just like rolls that thing to the bed and then just like slides off it, like you know what I mean, like every day.
Can you? Well, you have to figure in the amount of soy milk that he drank on stream. That's probably factoring into the digestion a little bit.
I love how he became a living stereotype with that. He was like, he's arguing with you and he's behaving like that, and then he's like, just a second, I want to make myself look better. I'm gonna go drink some soy milk and come back and argue with you.
I'm gonna get up in my gym shorts and walk into my kitchen that I'm broadcasting from, bizarrely, and grab some soy milk. And also, there's a shoe on my cutting board. What is happening?
Really? I not even noticed that. What the heck?
But yeah, I don't know. But the guy said, the guy who was talking to me today said, he's known him for a long time. He's been like this for a long time, so he's not surprised in his position. But he legitimately believes that the other voice actors opposed to Vic are talking with this guy. And I mean, to be fair to him, if he is truly an organizer, or he listed himself as Akon's organizer on his LinkedIn, although the Akon CEO would take some umbrage with that, I believe. I don't know how I would know that, but the Akon CEO.
I would be taking umbrage with associating with this guy at all. I'm amazed that people aren't pretending like I don't know who he is. We have no association with this soy drinking retard who went on stream last night and read Wikipedia articles and a lawyer.
Yeah,
That doesn't surprise me.
absolutely ridiculous. And so the CEO of Akon was like, this guy's full of it. He doesn't represent us. And then I have it on a very, very good, exceptionally good authority that Vic Mignogna does not even know who this person is.
He kept trying to pass it off last night, like they legitimately knew each other, that they were in contact with each other.
Yeah,
I mean, he even told you, he even told you, no, you get a hold of Vic's. What did he say? You get a hold of Vic's lawyers, and they can confirm that I know him, and we'll send you, And then I saw him on Twitter today, and he was like, "Well, here's the thing. I'll invite him to 4 conventions, but first he has to sign a contract, agreeing to our harassment policy." And then I think he responded with like, "Okay, well, has he seen it?" And he's like, "No, but he can go to my website and read it if he wants to." Well, you're best friends, right? Send it to him. What do you mean you haven't sent it to him?
Yeah, and by the way, a ton of people have Vic's email address. I think it's like listed on his fan page.
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah, he could have found it on stream. He's talking about, I gotta redact it. It's like, I would have said it, but he was struggling so hard, and I didn't want to help him. It's like he was the kid in The Sims swimming in the pool, and you take the ladder out.
Yeah.
But no, so yeah, he's obviously ridiculous. Although I do believe that he has some association with some of these people, that they thought they were going to get something out of yesterday. My theory is maybe they were thinking that I would, quote unquote, admit to knowing Vic's legal strategy and spill the beans or something like that, as if I'm just some Mary Sue running. I don't even know if that's the right term.
I think he was looking for like a soundbite. He was looking for like a gotcha moment where either you became unhinged and said something that he could be like, "Oh my God, look what this guy is saying," or he was looking for you to admit to knowing something that you're not supposed to know. But he was so he kept lighting himself on fire that the only sound clip he would get is people laughing at him from the hour and a half of like the debacle that he put on.
Do these people not realize that it's my job to argue with people who put people in jail for their entire lives? It's my job to argue with a judge who has the authority to put me in jail if my argument is bad or disrespectful, I should say, if I'm in contempt. And it's my job to argue with people. People pay me hundreds of dollars an hour to argue with other people who are paid hundreds of dollars an hour to argue. Like they think I'm going to slip up in their argument with some guy in a 15-year-old chair in a trailer. Like what is their plan here? Are they miscalculating? Yes, they're obviously miscalculating this badly on everything.
If he really does have, like, if he's talking to other VAs, they really, if that's their best that they sent, oh man, they're in trouble.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
that's not good.
they're in for a bad time. I liked too last night how he was like, he almost said it when you were arguing with him.
Oh yeah.
When he wanted to, when he was going to say, he started saying alt, and then he stopped, and then it's like, bad people. I'm going to say bad people instead. It's completely different letters. I don't know how he jumped from where he was going to go.
He tried spinning it. Then he was like, people that the alt-right even wouldn't associate with.
Yeah. Okay. So Jim, what's your theory on why he was afraid to say caters to the alt-right? Because I mean, Bronx, of course, called me an alt-right lawyer. That worked out well for him. Other people have used the same thing. I mean, tons of people use this.
I think it's pretty easy why, personally, but
yeah.
I mean,
okay. So what's the thought on that? Like, why is he afraid to say the alt-right?
I think he knew it would expose him as not a Vic supporter, even though everything, like, it was obvious he was not really a Vic supporter, but he kept trying to pretend like he was. So if he started using, like, throwing around alt-right, talking about the viewers and whatnot, then it would be like, oh yeah, you're definitely not a Vic supporter. I mean, this is like what the other side's doing constantly. They call us alt-right. They call us homophobic. They call us all kinds of stuff that we're not,
Yeah, I'd agree with that take. And I think, too, I like one of his big points last night was, you're like, well, how do we do this if you're not going to do a lawsuit? And he's like, well, we have to stop the Twitter wars. So like, I have this like feeling like he didn't want to, like he was trying to tiptoe. He wanted you to say stuff. He didn't want to say it because if he says it, then he exposes what he really is. But if he gets you to say it, then he can latch on and be like, well, you're not aligned with the real values of why we're here. You're not really fighting for Vic. You're fighting for the alt right. You know what I mean? But if he brings it up, then you're like, what are you talking about? We're here to talk about, what's going on. And I don't understand why you're bringing that up. He was so close to messing that up. I bet that's when the Discord he was talking to turned on him.
Yeah. Imagine unironically having the plan of getting Twitter people to stop fighting each other.
That'll work. Yeah, just ask them nicely. Hey, please stop. Give it up. Let's be nice.
Be there. Yeah. Be there, guys. Be there.
We just need to like Rodney King meme that guy all day. Like, can't we all just get along?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Real quick, guys. I'll be right back in literally like a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a brilliant strategy. I mean, listening to his bullet points examples of what to do. Well, first we need Vic to tell everybody he's a horrible rapist. then all we do is we stop the Twitter wars, and the next thing you know, he's working again. That's really all there is to it. It's a brilliant strategy come up for by the guy that runs 4 anime conventions.
Right, like 4 weeks, and he's in. No big deal. Oh, and so you noticed that he said, I asked him, okay, what convention, where's the venue, what's the date? And he named a convention, but he said that they hadn't picked a venue or a date. Well, right on the convention's webpage is a venue and a date.
Oh, yeah, I noticed. He was like, yeah, he tried to like, he was really weird. Anytime you tried to ask him anything specific, he got really vague about any answer that he would give. So when he's mentioning all the conventions and stuff, you're like, oh, okay, well, when is that? And he's like, well, we don't know when we're going to do. Well, most anime conventions are pretty good about keeping the same date or generally the same time of year every year.
Right.
So it's really bizarre that he wouldn't be able to be like, well, even if it's not this specific date, we think it's going to be sometime, the second or third week of this month.
Right. Of course, because they've got to plan it out with every other convention so that they can get the big names there.
Right. Yeah, they've got to work with a bunch of people's schedules, try to get a bunch of vendors together. I mean, it's like a big deal. So it didn't make a lot of sense that he wouldn't have at least some rough idea of when this was all going to go. It was so disastrous. The best part was when he Googled an article and was reading it, and you're like, no, wait, can you go back up 2 lines? And can you read that line to me? And there's almost like this shift in just his expression and the tone of his voice, because he knew what line you wanted to go to. So he tried reading above it and then below it and then to the side of it. No, just the highlighted line. Read that for me.
Yeah, of course. Just the embarrassing display of pulling up tortious interference with contract after me saying not tortious interference with contract maybe 50 times. I lost track of it. And
I saw somebody else today arguing with you. Was it another one that wanted to have a legal? They're like, no, we'll wait for the court case, then I'll debate the law with you.
Oh, you won't even believe this guy. So this guy's got his own. He's got his own Encyclopedia Dramatica article already. Because he's a long time.
Shocking. Who saw that coming?
Yeah, he's apparently a long time attention seeker. He's got a massive following of 886 on YouTube, and people are telling me that he's just trying to get some exposure, good or bad, which again, I don't think that's a viable plan. But he claims that he is a quote unquote magistrate. Now in the US, magistrates are either judges who are just assigned to handle small claims type matters, or sometimes they're even attorneys that will take a role outside of their jurisdiction for practice as a magistrate and handle small claims matters as a lawyer, but not as an official judge. So they don't have the same professional obligations because they're just little matters. If he was a magistrate, it was in the UK, where they're a glorified juror. So a magistrate in the UK is a volunteer position with zero legal training who has, you serve on a tribunal of 3 magistrates for small claims matters, and you have a legal advisor in the courtroom. So this guy is literally like, it's volunteer jury duty for 18 months. Because that's how the UK works.
Well, that's how you know he's a legal expert. He's so lonely and has so little to do. He volunteers for jury duty and he wants to argue on the internet with you about it.
Are you talking about the same guy or someone else?
This is NJ4K1.
It's another one. After seeing that massacre yesterday, the fact that somebody else would step up to walk right into the wood chipper, amazing.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, that fool. Yeah, dude, that guy.
And he's already dropped the hot legal knowledge and the solid constitutional foundation that says that that internal employee investigations are protected by the Fourth Amendment, which is not only irrelevant but flatly incorrect, because you don't have a Fourth Amendment protection in something that's kept as a business record by a third party. So that's just silly. We know this about cell phones, right? The numbers that you all dial on your cell phone.
Why would he be citing American law to you if he's a British juror? Like, if he's a glorified juror over in the UK, why is he citing America? He wouldn't even have any real knowledge of it, would he?
Because these people have no grasp on the reality of their situations. They think, and again, people have no. I'm not disparaging people who don't know about American law. It's a disaster. And that's why people pay so much money and so much time to learn it, and then charge so much to practice it, is because normal people don't need to know it. So there's no shame in not knowing this stuff, but these people fancy themselves as experts because, well, I mean, for him, he literally says, quote, "I've spent more time in court than Nick," which is one, he can't verify that, and two, even if he has, it's in a different system and completely irrelevant to anything we would be discussing.
I mean, who brags about being like spending thousands of hours in court as a juror?
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy does.
People usually try to get out of that, not trying to get in there as much as possible.
Semi-sentient zucchinis, I guess. I don't know. The guy is embarrassing. These people.
He backed out right away. Like, I was watching that exchange thinking, okay, you're going to get him on tonight, or you're going to get him on tomorrow or something. And then he backed it up real quick.
Right.
It's like, no, we'll wait for the court. We'll wait for the court. We'll wait for the court.
That was the dumb thing, because he's like, yeah, I guess I could go on to Nick's show. And I'm like, I didn't invite you. So, not really. And then he's like, look, if you want to have me on your show. And I'm like, no, you're not invited. So then he's like, okay, you're trying to bait me into being on your show. Nope. You weren't invited. You've never been invited. So then he's like, well, you're a coward and can't have me on my show, on your show. It's like, well, I mean, okay. Do you want to come on tonight? You've never been invited. I don't have a problem talking to you though. So he's like, no, we'll wait. It's like, wait a minute here.
So you actually did invite him and he ended up not wanting to come on?
Yeah. I mean, again, I had not invited him. He's talking about all this stuff. Someone else mentioned that maybe he would want to come on my show or something. I didn't even follow the origin that closely, but it's like, I don't know who you are. You're not even talking to me.
At the very end of the discussion, it left off with you actually offering it though, right? And then he said,
I said, how about tonight? Fine. And then he's like, well, no, it'll be when there's a court case. I don't want to discuss hypotheticals. It's like, well,
Chat, these people are so strange. Really, it gives me a headache just trying to understand the logic, like, from so many different like people that are part of that other side. It's crazy.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Like, watching, I've just been,
really?
I haven't been super invested in this, and I just started paying attention, especially last night, like after that showing, and, like, reading through their Twitter accounts and the interactions and what they're saying and stuff. And it's just really, really, it's a very weird position they're taking.
Mm-hmm.
And watching, and it seems like there's a fairly good amount of them that keep trying to do the, like, concern troll almost, like, oh, I'm really in his corner, but we need to get him to, go to therapy classes. Like, what are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, everybody knows they're phonies, at least, too.
Did you see, you might not, if you haven't been following this, you might not have seen it, but Monica Rial, the current voice of Bulma, her fiance, I guess, who literally said, I'd rather be a cuck with Monica Rial than not a cuck without her. That was his literal tweet. So you could tell where that guy's going.
Dude, it's not, I don't know. This is my personal opinion, but when a guy's saying that 5 years from now, I don't see them still. I'll let you guys, you know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at? I mean, we'll see.
I think it was during the 2016 election. I can't remember what account it was. I want to say the Reagan Battalion or something. It was a very anti-Trump group, right?
Sure.
And the cuck term was starting to kind of come into popularity, and they tried to own it basically in the same way that he was doing.
Ooh.
And they're like, we're proud to be called cucks. And that tweet stayed up for like 20 minutes before they realized how bad that was. And then they pulled it down and tried to act like they never said it. Like that we didn't tweet that out. That doesn't exist.
Well, one proud cuckold has kept his firm pro-cuckery stance up on the internet this whole time. To his credit, Maddox still says there's nothing inherently wrong with being a cuckold.
Unless you're called a cuckold in court documents.
Then you sue the earth, right?
Then you sue them. I love it. He puts out I wish that had gone to trial. He puts out a video saying there's nothing wrong with being a cuck. It's awesome. And then he sues because somebody calls him a cuck. So how the hell is that going to work in court? And didn't it's just the entire situation around that was humorous.
Oh yeah, that's an ongoing disaster. And so there's still a motion hearing for sanctions that's supposed to be scheduled. Last I heard, the judge, Ramos, he retired. And so they got a new judge, and the judge was like, I thought this matter was ended. So then they had a hearing several weeks ago where Landau was there, Asterios' lawyer was there, and Munoz, the lawyer for Weber Shandwick, was there. They're the only parties to the motion hearing, all explaining to the judge why they still needed to have a sanctions hearing. And Landau was there trying to desperately explain why they don't, because he tried to get away from it by firing Maddox, and he's still there. So Maddox may still have to fly to New York to have a sanctions hearing, and he'll be represented by the lawyer he has broken up with, but he won't actually be represented by him because it's in Landau's best interest to put the blame on Maddox. So and
walk away from it. Yeah.
Right. It's still a disaster. I'm just waiting for the announcement of that hearing. It'll be so funny.
I never understood why, when he was choosing people to go after, because he went after Patreon directly, didn't he?
Yep. He went after Patreon, Weber Shandwick, Dick's company.
Well, it's the Patreon one that I love because they make enough money where they're not going to get a small time. You know what I mean? Like they're going to have legal representation that's not going to play games.
Was this the situation with the guys that got deplatformed off Patreon?
No.
Do you want to explain who Maddox is to him?
I mean, if it's a long story, don't even. But.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Maddox back in the late 90s created a website called The Best Page in the Universe. It was massively successful. It was a satirical website. He wrote a couple books. The first book he wrote was very successful. It was called The Alphabet of Manliness. It's still a very, very funny book. And if you can find it at like a secondhand shop, it's worth the read. And then if you light it on fire and send a video to Dick, he'll send you a t-shirt. So it's also worth that. So that's Maddox's sort of history. Oh, and then he did another book called I'm Better Than Your Kids, which was an expansion of an article that he wrote that was very funny, where he criticized children's art. But when he expanded that into a book, it turns out that it was only funny for one web page, not for, like a 100-page book. So that book tanked magnificently. And then they contracted him for a third book, and that book has done embarrassingly bad. That was called F***CK Whales. And it did not go well. But anyway, so he later would do a podcast with Dick Masterson, who wrote a book called Men Are Better Than Women. And the podcast was called The Biggest Problem in the Universe. Each week they would bring in a problem each and argue why it was a problem. And then the audience would crowdsource via an online voting system what is the biggest problem in the universe. And
so they would be sure that they have different stances on it, or they would just one guy would take the opposite stance just for the sake of the debate.
At first, no. And then at second, when Dick basically made it into a contest, which rankled Maddox so bad that he started changing the entire format of the show. But they would just give their position for why it was a big problem. But then it became a little bit more of an argument later, which was funny for the audience. So that show goes on for 2 years. And then they break up. Inexplicably, the show stops, and Dick does his own podcast, and Maddox does his own podcast. And people are asking, what the heck happened? Because this podcast is very successful, very popular. And Dick says, artistic differences. And then after a couple weeks, he basically says, Maddox ended it. And then people start wanting Maddox to tell the story, and they don't. And so then it devolves into a kind of a back and forth flame war. And Maddox ends up making a video calling Dick a rape apologist and getting actual commercials that he had recorded for Domino's and stuff like that canceled by sending them this video saying he's a rape apologist by taking a line from one of the shows out of context.
Oh, wow.
So then Dick just goes on and makes fun of him for like the next several months. Just, banter back and forth. Maddox can't handle that banter and sues Dick and Asterios, who's just a Greek comedian who goes on the show from time to time, and Trevor Burt, who's a guy who made a parody character called Mad Cucks, and then Weber Shandwick, who was Asterios' employer, Dick's company, which I won't name for his own privacy, and then the two other founders of Dick's company. They sued Weber Shandwick's general counsel. They sued that guy as an individual. They sued Patreon. They sued a Patreon customer service rep by the name of Jordan Cope. They sued everybody to the tune of somewhere between $20 million and $400 million. We don't actually know because the lawsuit was written so poorly that you can't tell. So that happened. He hired the most comically bad lawyer I've ever seen. The document that he drafted, it was so bad I thought Maddox wrote it and just paid someone to file it. And then we found out that wasn't true. And his lawyer has enough DUIs that he never gets to drive again. So that was a little embarrassing. And
he's giving me a run for my money. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I didn't want to say anything.
I'll go there. That's okay. I'll go.
But so he has now, mind you, this is a lawyer and who has these DUIs. So you should be able to negotiate something out. I mean, that's your job. But whatever. The real problem with him is how bad he was at representing Maddox. And long story short, after costing everyone tens of thousands of dollars, it all gets dismissed by the angriest, 80-year-old New York judge who appears to be a Trump supporter, which was even funnier. And when Landau is in court saying, but he called my client a cuck, and the judge is like, so? He
really said that?
Yeah. Well, he said it means like a fool, right? We're not talking about a literal cuckold. We're talking about an idiot, a jerk, a dummy. And it was a massacre. But Weber Shandwick, actually, like you mentioned, Patreon hiring lawyers. The lawyer Weber Shandwick hired, Michael Munoz, was 14 years on the New York Ethics Board. He is the Boy Scout attorney, supercharged lawyer, a fantastic lawyer by all accounts. It was a mess, and Landau was completely ill prepared for it. Maddox should honestly be considering malpractice claims against him because it was.
Well, the thing I found most interesting about it, they had a really popular show together, and then they break up. And I think a large component of why that lawsuit happened wasn't just that Dick was teasing him, which he had every right to do after the crap that Maddox was doing. But it's that Dick was doing so wildly successful. When you compared their Patreons after the split, Dick was making $20,000 to $25,000 a month, and Maddox was making $800.
No, not even 140.
Yeah, it was ridiculously. You could tell who the audience went with in that, and I think it drove Maddox crazy. Watching everybody go to Dick drove him insane.
Well, and Maddox is so poor at having his finger on the pulse of anything that he thought that the way they monetized their first show was through traditional sponsorship ads. And so Dick gets off of he starts his own podcast and he's like, well, I'll try this Patreon thing out. And within a day has $500 on Patreon. Within a week is well over 1,000. And it's they could have had so much money. They could have been Cumtown in a lot of ways.
How it fell apart? Or, it's speculation, I guess.
What was that?
Does anyone know exactly what went wrong with the two of them?
Oh yeah.
Laughing so hard.
Okay, so
what's going on?
Maddox dated a girl for a while, and then 3 to 4 years later, Dick met her at a wedding that Maddox was also at, a mutual friend's wedding. Met this girl who was not dating Maddox. Again, they've been broken up for 3 to 4 years at the time, and Dick took her home that night. Ooh. And then ended up dating her, still dating her to this day.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
And she's I've met her once. She's a very lovely woman and a very nice woman. But yeah, so that was it. A scorned lover.
That'll do it to some people.
You have to check out, like, everybody should listen to Dick's show because it's very funny. But the story about all this and reading Maddox's like breakup letter that he.
Oh, that was fucking amazing in front of a live audience. That was one of my favorite moments. He gets up on stage in front of, like, it must have been like 100, 200 people, and reads this letter from Maddox, this tearful letter, this heartbroken letter, and it was the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard.
And it's written on like a yellow legal pad that's not even like torn off evenly, because you tear off a paper from a legal pad and it always goes diagonal. It's just how they're designed.
Oh my god!
And so he like hand wrote it on that and handed it to her. I mean, the level of tism in the Maddox is so high. So
is this thing like resolved now?
No.
Or what? Still going on?
All of the lawsuits were dropped. The only thing left is that this story is so deep. In the lawsuit, at the very beginning, one of the allegations, or one of the pieces of evidence that they used in the complaint, is Maddox's side said that a journalist, and they put it in quotes, by the name of Heather S., who worked for a publication called Condé Nast. They're a huge publishing arm. They publish tons of fashion magazines and stuff like that. A journalist from Condé Nast had reached out to Asterios' employer, Weber Shandwick. Okay? Well, several months into the lawsuit, for some reason, Maddox, in a sworn affidavit, comes out to admit that Heather S. was actually Maddox.
It's a very big-brained move. Worked out well for him.
that he was posing as a journalist. Like, he identified himself as Heather S., who worked for Condé Nast, and sent the emails to Weber Shandwick, but it was him. He admitted to doing it. That's not only perjury for lying in that initial pleading is perjury for sure. But the best part is that that's also a crime in New York, to impersonate a journalist for personal gain or to cause harm to someone else. And there is actually a Heather S. that works for Condé Nast. So it was this perfect storm of absolute nonsense.
This sounds crazy. Yeah, I'm so out of loop on this, but I mean that's crazy stuff. Most of it was like Maddox just kind of being a little nutty. Then it sounds like. I mean, I guess as an opinion.
If you want to, deep lore on this, I went through every single document. It's all in a playlist called the Lawsuit Saga on my channel.
Cool.
You can start. It's what started my channel in the first place. Was
wow.
I was like, this document's so bad, I'm going to get drunk and read it to people and post it to the Facebook group. And
is that how you started, like, the lawsplaining thing?
Yeah, that's it.
Big. All right, well, now I got the backstory. That's dope.
Yep. So,
that's dope.
But anyway, man, that was a long tangent, but
yeah.
It just goes to show that the level of stupidity that people will go to for whatever reason, it's so much farther than you ever expect. And of course, Jim, you know this because you've been watching the internet for years and talking about it. But
oh yeah, no, and especially with the majority, not all, but the majority of internet-based lawsuits like that, it usually ends up with somebody doing something really stupid and ruining it for themselves, or there's just no basis in reality for it. Or like, who files a lawsuit about this kind of stuff? Sues everybody, sues major companies.
I love how he sued the service rep too.
Right. And then admits, oh, by the way, I was impersonating a journalist and I was doing all this other stuff. And it's just big brain moves from him.
Just know that the court recognized that there's an album produced, a Billboard chart-topping album called Cuxmas Carols with Santa Cuck. And they are Christmas carols with the words rewritten to include cuck as many times as possible. Asterios recorded the album in 24 hours, and it Billboard charted. So, and then that was used as evidence in the lawsuit. So there's a point in the transcript at one of the motion hearings where they're like, can you turn to page 72 or whatever? And the judge says, you mean the part about Santa cuck? And it's like imagining an 80-year-old New York judge who's in the commercial division, so they're outside of the regular court and into the accelerated business only court because it involved these major companies, going, All right, let's talk about Santa Cuck and Cuxmas carols. Oh God, it's so funny.
That is gold. That's like that's like something out of a show. Like that's not even like real life, but
No,
I mean, it is real life though. That's crazy.
but real life is always funnier. Always funnier.
Oh man, I'm learning that more and more, especially this month.
So, but anyway, I mean, back to last night. That guy is out of his mind. These voice actors are out of their mind. None of them have any plan.
Did you see that he like privated his Twitter for like a good 30 minutes or I don't know, 15 to 30 minutes? He privated it.
I'm gonna guess he was deleting stuff. He was trying to get rid of stuff that's gonna make.
Because he made it public again.
Yeah, that's usually what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, if he was just trying to like hide forever, he would just left it private. But yeah, it was like for 15 to 30 minutes ish. So I'm kind of on the same page as you with that. Yeah,
he definitely deleted a lot. He was deleting things because he was very critical of Vic, and I think part of his plan was to get the narrative out that he was just for ending everything, but at the same time realizing that, oh my gosh, I've been spouting off on Vic negatively for the past like 3 days. So I don't know.
I wonder if anybody got a chance to archive it, because I'm going to guess if
a lot of it's archived. Yeah.
Because I saw a lot of people screen capping the anti-Vic stuff from him. So I'm going to guess that people archived that. I hope they did. Usually you should do that before they go into delete everything.
It is. I'm like 99% sure that is. I don't know about all of it, but I was looking at the archive earlier today, and there's a lot of Vic stuff on there regarding him talking about Vic.
Yeah, I've got so much stuff I have a dedicated email address just for this archive stuff.
Good idea.
And I have so many submissions that I have to go through.
Yeah, so that guy last night, I think, made it pretty apparent that there's a dedicated group. Depending on how far you want to say is they're dedicated to it, but it seems like he was working in concert with people. It seems like I don't know if they're trying to damage control it, if they're trying to shift Vic into a certain direction, I don't know exactly what they're trying to accomplish, but it seems like they're working together to accomplish something.
They don't know what it is either. I mean, that's the real reality. They have played this wrong from the moment it started. I mean, if Funimation, for example, had never tweeted out anything about an investigation, if they had never tweeted out anything about not supporting or condoning harassment in the same Twitter thread, like immediately following the tweet that said they were cutting ties with Vic Mignogna, there'd be almost no case. It'd be like, sorry, Vic, peace out.
They should have left it like Rooster Teeth did, honestly, right? Like just very simple, just like we are severing ties with Vic Mignogna.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you do any business litigation, any lawyer would say, you ask anyone, I can almost promise you that they did not consult their lawyer when they put out that statement. Because any lawyer would say, no, what on earth are you thinking? Why would we ever talk about cause for firing someone? We just say they're done. No one needs to know the cause. There's no purpose to it. So then you combine that with the ridiculous conduct of the voice actors, and then them disclosing that they were part of the investigation and then faking swats in the same breath.
Yeah, can you explain that? Like I said, I followed this kind of at a surface level, but the faking SWAT thing, can you explain exactly how that fits into all of this?
There's a how do we describe her? A rotund individual.
Okay.
What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means, honestly.
To quote Kiwi Farms,
I can say it means she's a fat ass. I'm not associated with anybody here, so I'll throw that out. My definition is fat ass for rotund, but go ahead.
To quote the Kiwi Farms thread, it says that they had to put the picture in landscape because portrait wouldn't capture all of her. So she is apparently on the investigation, self-professed on the investigation team at Funimation. However, what she did was she claimed that she was swatted. Just a couple days ago, claimed she was swatted. I can't remember her name.
Was this the woman on Facebook that posted a picture and it turned out it was from 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, that's her exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, okay. All right. This is the same one. All right. I think I get where we're going. Okay.
I mean, again, like you could just Google like shotgun doors, and of course, yeah, you know what cops always do? When cops are gonna bust down a door, they do a breaching round to the door handle, because that's how cops breach a home door. No, if you're getting swatted, pro tip, they're going to use a battering ram with 2 cops, and those guys are going to be covered. They're not going to use a breaching round, and you don't breaching round a door handle, you breaching round the hinges of the door. That's how you breach a door with a shotgun. But you don't actually do that to a civilian home because you don't know who's on the other side of the door.
Yeah, honestly. What I love the most is when the way she said that, like, after the cops helped her fix the door. That does not happen. Like, dude, the cops don't help you fix the door after.
This reminds. Didn't she blame it on Vic fans that did this?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
It reminds me of what happened to Elon Musk when journalists were getting really angry with him. There was a female journalist. I can't remember what outlet she wrote for, but she got into an argument with him on Twitter, and they were having responses back and forth. And he caught her in some kind of lie or something she was doing that wasn't really above board and made her look stupid. And so in retaliation for it, she went out and said, "Look at all the harassment I'm getting from Elon Musk fans." That was her response. It's the fans of his that are doing this, not my fault at all.
It's always that's something that's been really prominent in these things. You know, with Comicsgate, it was Ethan Van Sciver's fans are attacking me, which is Ethan's fault because he controls them somehow. Diversity in Comics is fans are going after people because he has some sort of control and therefore some sort of responsibility, which is of course ludicrous. And that was actually in Maddox's lawsuit. The vast majority of things that Maddox accused Dick of were actually perpetrated by quote unquote fans of Dick, although no verification that they were actually Dick fans.
The only time there would be merit in something like that, right, is if that person literally like had a call to action, like, and told those people to do that specific thing, right? In that case, that would be a different story.
And maybe like incitement is not this thing that everybody thinks. Like if you just say we should kill all Irish people or whatever, that's incitement to violence. It's actually not. Incitement to violence is to target a specific person and have a reasonable belief that violence is imminently going to occur to that person. So. Okay. This goes back to Brandenburg versus Ohio, where the KKK is in downtown or in a park in Ohio saying, or in like Cleveland or whatever, saying that they should hang all the blacks. And they weren't using that term, obviously. They were using very unfriendly terms to YouTube. Right. But the Supreme Court's like, no, that's not actually incitement to violence because it's a general statement setting out a political belief. As reprehensible as it may be, that's not actually incitement. Now, if there was a black guy there and they said we need to hang that guy, different story. Right. But yeah,
all the cases too, like with Musk, Diversity in Comics, and Vic, they're not even doing it like. Not only are they not doing it and saying to their fans, go out and do terrible things or go out and mess with somebody, they're not even doing it in a playful way like O&A used to do, where they're like, oh, wink, wink, don't go to this, a newscaster's Facebook page and say terrible things. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like they know what's being insinuated.
Right, but nobody's doing that. That's the craziest thing. And I remember seeing this lady's Facebook post, and then I remember somebody finding the same picture on her Facebook
with
like
3
or 4 years before that.
Dude, what was she thinking? Like, didn't even make a different account to like at least try and hide it.
No,
my God. Literally the same Facebook account.
Her name is even big. Samantha Inu Hart.
Yeah.
So that's who it was, because that's and again, this is someone who apparently Funimation says that they've made a hiring or firing decision based on her account, and within weeks of that happening, she's faking to the public a very serious thing. Like, again, if you're going to court against Funimation or any of these voice actors and they cite to the thing, you'd say, well, yeah, but they're willing to lie in public about a serious offense, an offense that has gotten someone killed in the last year, which is swatting. They're willing to do that. How credible are they? We can attack their credibility. And briefly, these big brains out on Twitter all think, for example, Jamie Markey and Monica Rial have said they've got 25 women willing to testify. They don't get to testify because what those women have said is irrelevant to what Monica Rial and Jamie Markey have said. So you don't get to just parade in a bunch of people to assassinate someone's character in court. You only get to do that on Twitter. You don't get to do that in court because
she's trying to give it like her mob rule, like bring them into the court, like the same like kind of thing.
Yeah, our justice system realized a long time ago that if you just have a brigade of people, that is not relevant to the issue at hand. It would only be relevant if you're challenging each of those people's statements. But if you've got 25 people to back up your claim, they're never going to testify. Ever. Maybe some of them will show up in deposition, and you know who they're going to depose because you get to pick the deposition. They're going to depose the dummy who decided to fake a swatting account, and they're going to have in deposition them saying, now, did you or did you not fake a swatting account on Twitter? Like, yeah, yeah, I did. Isn't it true?
She actually did try to spin it off as like, did you hear her excuse by any chance? It was like,
no.
She said something along the lines of like, well, what did she say? She said, I really did get swatted, but I didn't want to use current pictures because it would leak my address. So I used old pictures. That's like paraphrase. That's what she was getting at. It's like basically what she said.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, someone immediately contacted the whatever county she lived in, asked them for the swatting report, and they said there's been no SWAT team deployments.
Well, obviously that police station must be Vic fans. There are more Vic fans that are covering up this tragic event.
Right. Yeah. It's a disaster. None of these people have any plan. None of these people know what's going on, and they've all. I mean, you've got Monica Rial, I think, stating that she doesn't need a GoFundMe because Sony's lawyers are Sony's got billions of lawyers or whatever, and they're really good.
And she was trying to talk shit on the people who donated to the GoFundMe.
Right.
She was like trying to talk shit on them and Vic, and like, you shouldn't take your fans much. Like, oh my God, these people are just going off.
So is this turning into a PR thing? Like, I can't imagine. So they're talking about we've got 25 women that they're going to say all this stuff. Is this just bluster? They want to get out there and say like, look how bad this guy is. We have 25 women that are willing to talk about it, knowing that that's not going to happen in court, but just wanting to get some kind of a PR spin out publicly about it before this advances farther.
I guess, but it's weird because I think they're trying to save their convention appearances. In all honesty, at this point, that's what the voice actors have to be trying to do is, look, we know that if they win the narrative on this, that their convention appearances disappear. That might not bring Vic's back, but theirs is gone.
Marcy did lose one already, I believe, right? You guys know about that?
Shockingly, if you say I want his head, I want his balls, to a very popular voice actor who has maintained his popularity in light of accusations of sexual assault, that they go, you know what, we don't want any of the drama here between these people, so we'll just cut you too. You're gone. That's where they are, and they're probably getting word from sponsors of these conventions who are like, we don't want this. We don't want this. We want people to come and spend money on little figurines. And anime DVDs. We certainly don't want people showing up with a hashtag #KickVic t-shirt coming to blows in like the windmill slap fest that would ensue at an anime convention between a #KickVic and I Stand with Vic.
Do you think that's going to advance to that point? I mean, are we going to see like voice actors up giving speeches at conventions with #KickVic t-shirts on and shit like that? Is that coming?
I don't know if they're.
I doubt it personally.
I don't know if I think the voice actors would be expressly disallowed from it, but yeah, we're talking cosplay here. So you wear a cosplay with someone with like a long robe or something like that. You get into the convention, you pull it off, and you've got a stand with Vic or #KickVic shirt on underneath. I think that's entirely predictable that you could in fact have like a stupid little mini battle line of each side screeching at each other in the middle of a convention.
I just don't see the VAs wearing like going around wearing shirts.
Well, I think the VAs would be told that if they do, they're gone.
Yeah, because that's.
But yeah, I mean the fans doing it and starting an altercation that leads to physical violence and makes the news. And I mean some of the sponsors of these shows are like Mattel, trying to
So
sell
wait,
toys.
are we gonna read news articles about 19 Narutos injured in Kansas?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Or you might, and I do think it will be like that too. Like a lot of people are going to cosplay Vic characters like more intentionally. Like maybe not wear the shirt and everything, but I wouldn't be surprised if more people are like cosplaying like Ed and Crow and people like
some of the cons that are still supporting Vic are giving free admission to people who show up as Vic characters.
I heard about that. Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's I mean, all of the sponsors of these shows have to be worried about it devolving into violence because it'll make the news, it'll make them look bad, and they don't want their brand associated with it. So the fact that Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi are out there laying out these very provocative and semi-violent tweets puts them in a bad light. Marchi's suffering from it by losing one convention. We may see more soon. I just don't know what I guess their PR is, if we've got people backing us up, then maybe we won't lose the spot. Maybe we'll
see that numbers getting less and less, surely.
I mean, the fact that Funimation announced Vic's firing, Funimation's got a Twitter account of 760,000 followers, and they got like 20,000 likes on that. That's not strong support, especially considering Vic's announcement that he was lawyering up and there was a GoFundMe got something like 17 or 18K. And he has 100,000 subscribers. So, I mean, you're playing a numbers game. He's got 6-1 support over Funimation's firing decision.
Well, the likes and retweets on Twitter, the amount raised with the GoFundMe, even the stream viewers you're pulling on and other people are pulling on videos and streams related to this. They have to know where the support lays.
Yeah.
I mean,
if they don't, they're just blind or ignoring it.
Somebody in a boardroom somewhere in a suit has to be sitting down and thinking, crap.
Yeah.
How are we going to get out of this? Because this is not going to be helpful for our bottom line if it continues.
Yeah, but to be fair, that suit may have cat ears on it.
Possibly.
So my question to you guys, if someone like Jamie Marchi or one of these voice actors is on a public, like Twitter, social media, but they're putting that they're an employee of X corporation, are they not like representative of that company? Like, aren't they accountable somewhat to the tweets they're making?
They're in Texas. The Texas rules of principal and agency, or more appropriate, vice principal liability are extremely broad, and I think Funimation never saw this coming, because if they did, they would have had clauses in all of these voice actors' contracts that have a non-disparagement versus other voice actors policy in them. And if they were on top of this, which again, I think everybody miscalculated. Everybody thought, no, this is no one comes back from a sexual assault allegation.
Yeah, they
we're
thought it'd
fine.
be easy.
Yeah, we're fine. So we'll let them go.
And it's been like a growing thing. Like right away from the beginning, they had a lot more support than they do now. But it's been a combination of like the lack of evidence and the fake bullshit, like the swatting and the craziness on their side, like I want his head and all that stuff. It's like more and more people by the point we're at now. I don't even know if we're the minority anymore. I feel like we're the majority, but I don't know for sure. But I've definitely noticed a big change in the dynamic, though, for sure, as opposed to like when this was first starting.
Has Funimation lost its window? I know a lot of times when like bad PR kicks in and lawsuits are getting talked about, sometimes what a company will do is say, oh, well, you see, the person that runs the Twitter account or the employee that we have in charge of it or the company we have in charge of it spoke without our authority, so it isn't representative of what we want. But they left it up for far too long, right? They can't pull something like that as a deflection, can they?
My understanding is that it's still up, and that would be that's beyond it. That's beyond their. Yes, they've missed the window on that one. I think now their solution, if I had to speculate, is depending on what Vic wants, obviously. But if I had to speculate, Funimation's best course of action is to say, you know what, we will apologize. We will make a statement like you're suggesting, Jim, and say, you know what, we did not authorize the release of this information. This information is not correct. Our internal investigation was inconclusive, as was stated in the IO9 article, and that we will actually continue to work with Vic Mignogna as appropriate. And then, of course, behind the scenes, if I were his lawyer negotiating that out, I would try and get some guaranteed contracts on some specific roles that they could announce right away. Because to be brutally, like the Shannon, the man named Shannon from Rooster Teeth, who's tweeting today, he's like, well, how does he come back from this? What are they going to do? Are they going to undo the past? It's like, well, you know what? If the corporate entities, if Rooster Teeth and Funimation are willing to step back and say, you know what? These voice actors don't speak for us. We don't agree with their assessment. We made a decision based on some bad information, and that we are retracting that, and we will continue to work with Vic. If Funimation does that, if Rooster Teeth does that, then Vic's back at conventions in 12 months or less. Because
but what about the conventions he lost this year?
I don't know that there's coming back for most of those. Maybe some by the end of the year. It'd be hard to say.
I mean, is there still? Would you say there's still a potential like litigation then for those?
Oh yeah,
losses?
Yeah. I would say there's litigation for any of them potentially. But what's gonna matter, and this is what these people don't understand, is that any lawsuit that they bring, they can, if they find just a smidge of evidence, they can depose and include as part of discovery subpoena requests for communications between any of these conventions and any of the voice actors or any of the corporate entities or anything like that. And more importantly, the corporate entities as part of a settlement. Like let's say Funimation wants to settle this. Part of that settlement might be, yeah, we'll actually, as long as you promise not to disclose it, we'll give you all of the communications we've had with any convention host, with any voice actor, with any other contractor. We'll give all of that to you to make your job in discovery easier going forward. Because
didn't something similar to this happen in Comicsgate? I can't remember if it was Ethan or somebody else. They were going to have a comic published, and somebody in the business contacted the publisher and got it so they wouldn't do that. Because they were talking about they were talking about how they basically said on Twitter we want to do it, but we can't because we've been told if we do. So it's kind of similar with the conventions, right? If Funimation were to release information, or one of these entities were, and you see like, hey, a voice actor or somebody in the corporate contacted the conventions and said, don't do it.
Can you imagine being Jamie Marchi or Monica Rial and facing the prospect of Funimation not only not defending you because they decide to settle with Vic, and because they realize that you're just an independent contractor and someone else, we've all watched them. Well, maybe we haven't all, but if you haven't watched the movie Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg, you are replaceable. You're just a voice. So someone else can voice Bulma, right? And do a really good job, maybe even a better job. Someone else did voice Bulma already. So when they say you're an independent contractor, it's much less painful for Funimation or Sony to just say, you know what? Peace. Y'all deal with that. And not only that, here's all of the emails that Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial have sent to Funimation. And let's just see what happens to that defamation case when all of those emails you thought were private suddenly are in the hands of Vic's attorneys.
I see. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting.
And that could be, I have no idea. I know that Vic's attorneys have been working on this already, which means that those settlement talks could already be happening. They could be scheduled for the next couple days. They could be a week out. We could see movement on that really quickly.
That would remove hypothetically, if they were going after like all the big guys, Sony, Rooster Teeth, Funimation, all of them, that would if they all did that sort of thing, that would remove Sony, Funimation, and Rooster Teeth from.
Yeah, if you're taking the position of let's say I decide I'm representing Sony,
but it wouldn't remove the VAs and people like maybe A&N and all those guys. They would still be at risk now.
Yeah, if I'm let's say I'm Evan Stone. Not porn Evan Stone, but lawyer Evan Stone representing Funimation. And I say, you know what? My duty, because everybody gets this wrong, the duty of the corporate lawyer is to the corporate entity, not to the board members, not to the CEO, not to the chairman, not to anybody else, but the corporate entity. My duty to protect Funimation says that if I can get out of this by issuing an apology, a retraction, disavowing these independent contractors speaking outside of the will of Funimation, admitting that they went off of information that turned out to be credibly dubious, they can do all of that very publicly and say, we're welcoming Vic back onto the team, and those people will deal with what comes to them. I mean, if I'm Funimation's attorney and that's the option on the table, I take it 10 times out of 10. What does Funimation have to gain from... I know what the voice actors have to gain from dragging Vic. What does Funimation have to gain from dragging Vic? Absolutely zero. They've got to have been watching the metrics, as we were talking about before.
Yeah.
They've got to say, not only was this not super popular opinion is swaying against us. And I don't know if you've seen this, Jim, but Funimation's unsubscribe button for their paid service broke.
Really? From the amount of people using it?
No, well, I mean, they're just
hard to say if you're sure what happened.
Well, what I'm curious about is, I mean, it's one thing to speculate on which way they're going to go on this, but it just feels like with the amount of time that's passed, do you think it's part of their corporate culture to back something like this? I mean, it seems suicidal, but maybe this company is run by people that aren't the most intelligent.
Here's what I'm going to say. From what I've heard, and I have good sources on this, the Japanese have a huge amount of influence in what's going on at Funimation. Dragon Ball Z Broly, or Dragon Ball Broly is Super Broly or whatever, that movie is one of the best performing, if it's not the best performing US release anime, I don't know what is. It did 30 million domestically, 100 million overseas, or when you combine them, which is huge. And that 30 million comes entirely from the dub, pretty much, from Funimation. Like, they have massive amounts of control. They have influence over casting decisions. And we're talking Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, and Toei Entertainment, the owners of the Dragon Ball IP. They have influence over this stuff. And do we think Japan really cares? Like, Japan is not a bastion of catering or pandering to Western sensibilities. Like, they tend to still have girls with giant anime titties running around, right? Like, so if Japan is run on dollars, period, or yen, as it were, they don't care about this. If they start seeing, and the voice actors out there should probably take note that if Toriyama and Toei look at this and they go, well, I mean, Funimation's gone. Like, Funimation has destroyed the Dragon Ball brand. We'll bring any other studio on. And, they didn't hesitate to recast the Japanese cast for Dragon Ball Super. They would not hesitate. Bulma, Vegeta, all of them are very expendable. I mean, especially
when a lot of those gays have hurt now their reputation. Now they're even more expendable.
Yeah, I mean, I could do a Piccolo and a Vegeta in a pinch. They can certainly find someone better than me to do it, and find an equal replacement to Chris Sabat. The fact that they're contracting with Funimation is not a security blanket for Funimation. If they start interfering with the Japanese's money, they're gone. They're gone in a heartbeat. Why would they keep them? Who cares that Sony bought them? It's Sony America that bought them, not Sony Japan.
Do you think there's pressure coming from the East right now? Do you think that they're starting to notice this more as it continues onward and picks up momentum?
Yeah, I think every single minute that this is loud and that people start saying, like, if I put on my tinfoil hat, right, that button didn't break. The unsubscribe button didn't break. The unsubscribe button was disabled by Funimation because they were hemorrhaging money. And
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
My understanding is that they run on a pretty thin margin already. And if we're talking that they're hemorrhaging money where they're facing next month or the next month, maybe we don't make payroll if we keep losing subscribers. Tell you what, we'll disable this unsubscribe button by accident for a couple days. People will complain, but you know what? By the time we come back, think about it this way. What if that unsubscribe button was disabled moments after the lawyer for Vic contacted Funimation? Let's say that happened. Let's say that, or maybe even it wasn't that. Maybe even it was just moments after they heard that Vic was lawyering up and that Funimation was on the potential chopping block there. Let's say they disabled that unsubscribe button and said, look, part of our corporate strategy is We weather the bad PR of the unsubscribe button because we know that the favorable PR of having Vic back will be better than having to to get someone to resubscribe is to just delay their ability to unsubscribe until we've resolved this. If that's their plan, and I mean, this would never, ever come to surface, but if that's their plan, then they preserve subscribers. They release the information that Vic is back on board. The people who are like, you know what, screw Funimation are like, wait a minute. Okay, so Funimation got duped by a bunch of blue hairs. I'm okay with that. I'll stick. If they're going to stick with Vic, then I will stick with Funimation, and they don't have to recourt those subscribers. That is a brilliant plan. And
that's a good point too, because the people that would have unsubbed might have found an alternative source, a different website or something that they like more. So even if they did bring Vic on at that point, they might still not even subscribe back because they have a new service they're using that they like.
Right. It's always easier to keep someone than to get their business back.
Well, how many VAs? And again, like I said, surface level, but do you think there's some kind of weird collective blue hair bargaining behind the scenes? Do you think that they tried approaching Funimation? They're like, you need to kick him and you need to keep him kicked. Otherwise, we're just all going to walk.
I think that's very possible, personally.
Let me tell you what happened. I'll just tell you what my sources tell me. They tried to get Vic kicked on the sexual assault allegations, and as according to the IO9 article, the investigation came back inconclusive. They tried to do it before Broly was cast. When they heard Broly was being cast, they're like, you know what? We don't want Vic. Use the Japanese recast. And this is getting very specific. Use the Japanese recast as an excuse to recast Vic. And they said, no, Vic is like the most popular American voice actor. He's got the biggest fan draw at these conventions. He's great. We're going to keep him because he's been the voice of Broly for 20 years. Then Broly comes out, is super successful. Then let's say they come out and they say, you know what? If you didn't do it for the reasons that we stated with the investigation. Maybe they accused him of like wanting to rape little girls or something like that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's in an email somewhere.
Could be.
Right, voice actors? Maybe that was communicated somewhere. That you might have accused him of something so heinous with zero support, and they didn't believe you when they looked into it, and then the Broly movie came out, and then you all got together. Including the ones who have been quiet, right? Like, because this wasn't just the two women. It wasn't just the two women.
The Me Too movement's a thing.
It's maybe people like Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat, who haven't been too well. Sean was vocal until he nuked his like 400,000 follower Twitter. Good job. Hashtag bipolar. But maybe guys like Chris Sabat who have been kind of quiet about it. Maybe they were part of that blue hair cabal that said, look, if Vic doesn't go, we all go, and we raise a huge stink about it. And they're like, you know what? Fine. We cut him. We've got the movie. It was a huge success. What are we worried about recasting Morose Mononokean? And then by the time the next Dragon Ball thing comes out, we don't have to worry. That'll be years down the road. No one will care about that we're casting someone different, and all this is going to happen. Maybe that's the course of events that happened. Maybe they tried and failed, and then after it didn't work, they got together and came back with a different demand. I don't know. I'm just speculating, of course.
I think it's possible, but I think it goes even deeper, honestly, with the whole Anime News Network and Anime Feminists and all these people working together. It's just way too coincidental that they all have spoken to each other.
Yeah,
and then
of
these
course.
articles all come out. It's just, yeah.
I mean, of course they did. And of course, these people have influence over their executives. And of course, they say they're going to walk. And of course, the guy whose recording studio they're using, Chris Sabat, says, I'm going to pull my recording studio from your thing, and you're going to have to find some other studio and not get to use it at that nice, comfy discount we've worked out, or whatever it is. And they suddenly have to scramble to record, say, their next show. They have to hire some recording studio that they have no experience with in the middle of Dallas. They're probably going to get gouged trying to get the scheduling right to start recording this show on such short notice. Like, there's a lot of leverage that these people have. And the fact that they would kick Vic off of these really thin allegations after deciding that they didn't have any merit, I mean, I don't know how anybody could allege a corporate conspiracy. And remember, if Funimation decides not to back the horse faces and they decide to back their own horse, guess what happens?
What I find, going off your hypothetical,
Very
on what might
hypothetical.
happen, very hypothetical. You would think somebody at Funimation, one of the bean counters or somebody with some sense would say, if that hypothetical happened, if we bend the knee on this, they can do it to us on anything.
Of
I mean,
course.
they could throw a tantrum because they dislike an executive, or they dislike a certain cast member, or they dislike whatever. It doesn't even matter. They have us at gunpoint. They can just say, no more recording studio. We're not going to do voice acting for you. We're going to kick up a big stink. You've got to give in and acquiesce to all our demands whenever we feel like it, and you need to cater to us. And there's nothing worse than having a group of people that overreact to something that's not a big deal, or overreact to something that isn't even there, making demands on your company over and over again. Yeah, you'd think somebody high up would say, we don't really want to be in this situation. This is kind of suicidal from a business point of view.
Yeah, I mean, why would you hold yourself hostage to irrational people in business? It makes no sense. Of course, they're going to want to get rid of this this image, and to the men involved in this. That is the funniest thing to me. You think, I mean, Vic thought these people were his friends up until the moment. Yeah, they acted like friends up, as recently as December and January. They're in pictures, hugging and tickling and laughing and smiling. It's a month and a half ago. It's amazing to think how recently this was.
Yeah.
To the men who sided with the women on this, you think you're not on the chopping block? You think the next time that you have a casting decision and you don't cast that lady, you think you're not next? I mean, do you honestly think that you've never hugged someone and made them uncomfortable? I mean, I've seen you guys. I know that if you hugged me, I would be spraying you with Raid immediately. So you think that there are already hundreds of pictures of these guys doing the exact same thing Vic is doing, hugging fans very tightly, face to face, kissing them, hugging them around the waist from behind, stuff like that. Of course, they all act like this, and these cucks think that the women will be on their side when they find out that they have all of the power merely by saying this happened. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? You should have, and I'm not saying they should come out and like verbally knife their women's friends, but maybe just say, you know what? Like, is this the way we want to go about it? Like, is this honestly our plan here? Maybe we could take a long game and get him slowly removed and let the Twitter backlash against him or whatever, see how that plays out. But no, they couldn't do that. They couldn't wait. And these guys jumped in to support them behind the scenes or in front of the scenes. And it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing to think that they won't. Everybody thinks that they're not next on the Me Too chopping block, but you're all next, including the ladies. You're next too, because it's okay to be an elbow in 2019.
You're all gonna get lined up one by one. There's only gonna be one VA standing at the end of this contest.
It's a mess. It's a freaking mess.
Yeah, all you need is that guy from Police Academy. He could do all the voices and sound effects. Why are we hiring all these different people?
Problem solved. Yeah, let's fire the whole staff and just go with this one dude. He was great in those movies.
Yeah, it's I mean, but again, that's how these things always go. When you are supporting a cutthroat corporate culture, you're supporting the next person cutting your throat when you step out of line.
What I wonder the most is how much of the upper management behind the scenes like follows the same agenda, and how many of them really actually care about the monetary standpoint for the shareholders and all that.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to know what the corporate culture is at that company, because I really don't have any clue. It could be staffed by soy latte drinking, skinny jean wearing,
it wouldn't be that surprising.
Having super me tooing executives. Or it could be a dude that's just like money is all I care about. So
yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
Up until a month ago, the CEO was Jen Fuguyama or something.
Yeah, about a month ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like a conservative Christian Japanese guy, right? Like, is that
I forget if his religion, his beliefs personally, but I know he has some ties with what's his name? I think Ron. I'm trying to remember. I made a video on this a few days ago. And I already forget. I literally forget right now. Hold up.
There's so much information, but I believe that, you know, until he was removed as CEO, the corporate
Rick Santorum. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh yeah, he's like buddies with Rick Santorum. They're like neighbors or something.
A new company called Echo Light Studios.
Yeah. So up until a month ago, you're talking that the CEO of Funimation is friends with one of the most conservative Christian congressmen in that's identifiable, that has any notoriety, and was a like hardcore conservative Christian candidate for president in the past 2 elections. That friends and neighbors with Rick Santorum.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so I think you know, maybe there was a move to get him out. I of course can't know what happened there, but the idea again of like creating. Why would you ever want to create an environment where someone's baseless accusation has the power to end your job? It's all of these people are one-step thinkers. Over and over and over again, it shows they're one-step thinkers. And if they had thought through any of this, they would have realized that this wasn't the way. It wasn't the way to do it.
Well, it's fascinating to watch. Like I said, I kind of knew what was going on. I've heard bits and pieces. I got more interested, especially after seeing kind of that side's support from last night was really eye-opening, I guess. I don't know what they're dealing with. I have to jet. I've got my own show to do in the mornings. I got my full time to watch.
Where can people find you, Jim?
On YouTube at Mundane Matt. All the hottest videos you could ever want to watch and the best live streams that have ever existed. But
it was embarrassing when you cried.
I know. I was so emotional about that button. What could I do? But no, thanks for having me on, guys. I enjoyed talking about it.
It was a pleasure, man.
I really hope I hope somebody in corporate just puts the brakes on. Put the brakes on. You know this is going to end in disaster. You know it. It's going to fuck with your money. Don't let these people fuck with your money.
I'm shocked they haven't at least stopped them from like posting all the stuff that they're still posting on social media. At least doing that makes sense. I can't believe they haven't even done that.
Or fire them.
Yeah, right. Especially if your company is in a tenuous position where you're almost living month to month as far as finances go. This is just not a brilliant decision. But take it easy, please. For the love of God, get more people like Shane on.
I will try.
So entertaining. I want to see more of these people. I want to watch you tear them apart. That's great stuff.
Okay, sounds good, buddy. And let me know when you want to do that 40K stream. I get calls for it every day.
Yeah, I will set that up with you. I'm looking forward to it. I've been reading a shit ton of Warhammer 40K stuff. I got a bunch of omnibuses, so I've been really good stuff. I didn't expect it to be as good a read as it was, but it's good stuff.
Yeah, man. I look forward to it too.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Peace.
It's funny, man. I debated this one dude. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. He was in my chat. I was streaming, and I just noticed in chat he was like cussing out the chat. So I was like, oh, he must be a kick vicar. I invited him in Discord. We had a call. It ended up he like kind of similar. He just ended up dipping. Like he just left in the middle of the discussion. Kind of like what happened to you.
Eventually they got nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it's 1:25 a.m. I normally end at 2. I've got so many chats to go through.
Do you want to skip your topics and hit the chats?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, and maybe I'll do those topics later. I mean, the topics are funny, but I was happy to have Jim come in and really hit on this Vic topic. So with the chat's blessing, let's start burning through these super chats.
Sounds good.
Let's see, where were we? Let me find it. If you have anything to say to fill time, let me know.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, I honestly, the Shannon thing, I do have something to say about Shannon because that's really sad. So Shannon plays a character in RWBY named Ozpin, who a lot of the fandom for RWBY didn't really like.
Is RWBY a Macross?
What's that?
Like Robotech or Macross sort of production?
No, it's like it's trying to be anime-esque.
I thought there were mecha involved that transformed into planes.
Genlock is like, that's the new show that Rooster Teeth made. But I don't know that they transform. I don't really watch it, but
okay.
They made a mecha show called Genlock. It just came out like last month.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Shannon played this. He was doing the voice actor for this character, Osmond, who I would defend from so many people that would hate on him. And now it's like, oh, it's so awkward, man, because I see the stuff Shannon's saying now. I'm like, dude, I was defending like this character. I know it's not like the same person, but it's still awkward.
Yeah. All right. I found my place. Akasit says, someone needs to create a GoFundMe alternative just for culture war lawsuits and name it Spirit Bomb. This time it will work, I promise. Last donation of the month, running out of candy money. Godspeed, Nick. Well, thank you, Akasit. Never donate to me when it hurts you. But I appreciate every donation, of course. I want to talk about that. Not for a long time and very preliminary, but I think there is a potential legal cultural defense fund that could come out. I mean, there are other defense funds that are out there where you crowdfund and then the fund itself is a charity that then picks people to fund their legal matters, and I think that's a real possibility. And if this template of community support works for Vic, then maybe there's something like that in the future, and maybe you guys can help me build it. We'll see. Keck7 Go says, "Can you pray for Shane's chair? Hashtag all chairs matter." I think it's beyond. I think it's beyond prayer. It needs to be read last rites. Oak 1971 says, "There is nothing behind." What was that?
Take it out to the back.
Yeah, there's nothing behind Ty's beard besides a fist. Aura Gammy says, "Thanks for all the time, work, and coverage you've been doing." You're welcome. My pleasure. Darian the Ghoul says, "Vic's deck is ready to duel." Ryan English says, "Tell Ty he has the best tie." I will do that. Keck7 Go says, "I figured it out. Ty Beard was your gay boyfriend when you were seducing Lady Rackets." No, I don't think so. He is handsome hunk of man after all. Daddy likes. No, Ty was not at college with me. Train Hardnet says, "It's funny, when I was looking you up, I stumbled upon them by chance." Well, that's cool. I don't know how, but that's interesting.
When they were looking, me up or you up?
I think me up. Train Hardnet said, Ty Beard's Beard, Harris, Bullock, and Hughes. So that's really interesting. Now I have to look myself up and see if I find them.
Yeah, see what that's about.
Angel of Death Driver says, "Voice Actors Guild incorporating negative a-holes." Chris John says, "Spicer, Minnesota, home to the world's best YouTube lawyer." Aw, thanks, buddy. Kyra10 says they should hire Shane. He seems to know law. Yeah, that'd be very good for them. He's written contracts and defended them, apparently. Meximan and Cheese says, "Your Tard Rapture Sunday was glorious. Saw it 3 times." Thank you for that.
3 times, whoa.
That is by far the biggest live stream I've ever done. It was, when we started, it was over 60,000 views on a 3-hour video, which is mind-blowing to me.
That is
mind-blowing.
Killed it.
Dorby says, "Will Shane Holmberg saying, 'That's all I have to say on the matter,' shield him during deposition on his scandalous admissions last night?" No. The funny thing about depositions is you answer the questions under penalty of perjury, and you have to answer them, or you could be held in contempt of court. You have to do it. So if he were deposed, yeah, boy, wouldn't it be interesting to find out, since he claimed we and tried to impute that upon Vic, not even knowing who the we was, admitted to potentially sexual misconduct 20 years ago, which might be within the statute of limitations in Texas, depending on the misconduct, you weirdo.
Really quick, I did see a super chat. It's going to be super late. It just came up in chat, but it was John asking me, "Do I know about Shane's letter?" Yes, I do. And with the recent stuff that's coming out, I'm going to reread it again. Might have a different opinion on it.
Shane's letter?
Yeah, it's something that came out about Rooster Teeth a little while back from someone who used to work there.
Oh man, if you could send me a link on that, I'd be curious to read it.
Yeah, I'll DM it right now.
Wooten says, "OWO, what's this? This is a stream. Turned into a Vic stream. It was going to be some other stuff, but happy to have Vic stream." Nocturnus says, "Shannon blocked me after I said subs are better." Sir Shane 63 says, "Monica's fiance claims that if Vic sues, he will lose and ruin his career, which he claims is what Monica and Marky want." I mean, his career without suing is not doing so hot right now. And I would. These people are so brain dead. I would not trust a single thing that they said to be the correct move. So I wouldn't listen to that. Charles Sinney says, isn't it a beautiful thing this is finally happening? It absolutely is. Ralphie64 says, Sean, voice of Goku, claims there's 30 victims from the Vic accusations. Do you believe a single one would ever bother to show up to court? Like I said, they won't get to. They won't be invited. Jamal Breezy says, hashtag Team Vic. Zero the Slayer says, oh my God, just imagine those morons trying to defame a litigation lawyer. How dumb would they be? I mean, they've been very smart so far, so who knows? Shinryu Ryuji says, so are we still doing a collab? Yes, buddy. I'm sorry. Things have just been blowing up and moving so fast. It's hard to keep up.
I DM'd it. It's a long read, but it's in your Twitter DM whenever.
Yep, I'll read into it. Not on stream or anything, but I'll read into it. Yeah. Jason the Chaotic says, thanks, Nick and Hero, for helping Vic. Nick sent you a fat email on the alleged new witness. Spent all day researching from Heroes, Tail Taverners, Caleb, Jordan, Sakura, Jason. Yeah, a.k.a. Chaotic Vic.
Sick. Yeah, I know him. He's in my Discord.
Yep. Moist John, again, gross, says, our glorious leader, Nick, when are we founding the communist regime of North Minnesota? Central Minnesota. Because you can't have one segment of Minnesota being better, only the central planning for the win. Devil Trigger DMC says, hashtag stand with Vic. Nick, keep up the good work, bro. Also, Hero Hei, love the channel, great content, and is your name Hey as in Hey from Darker Than Black?
Yes, thank you a million. So I'll move the mic. I mean, if you're still here, whoever sent that, there's Hey and then Darker Than Black here. And if you go on my Instagram, I cosplay Hey. Yeah, I love Hey. He's freaking awesome.
Very cool. What's that show from?
It's Darker Than Black.
Darker Than Black.
Yeah, it's a really good anime.
Man, I feel like Shane with that question. Matthew,
I asked some similar things to you. It's all good.
Matthew Rivard says, this is what happens when you take dubs over subs. Hyrule Bard says, Pirate Canvas is a fraud. Be wary of his illness faking butt. Okay. Black Chocolate says, I support you guys. I stand with Vic. Michael Mascarena says, when will Mars Girl get on? When will we get Mars Girl on here? Mars Girl, of course, is invited on here. That'd be fun. I'd talk to her. Daryl says, I hope this law firm lays waste to all of the people involved. Maybe setting an example of them will deter this behavior. I really wish Poppy Harlow would cover this. The 9-year-old army is strong. Andrew Collins says, all hail our leader. Also, hail Hero Hei. Bow, you ungrateful mortals. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Also, Hero Hei, thanks to you, I'm saving money not doing first subscriptions to RT.
Hey, well, if it's saving you money, I'd probably say it was a good choice.
Yes, absolutely. And so would Dave Ramsey. Jamie Leon says, blood for the blood god. Absolutely. Skulls for the skull throne. Rax the Hero says, one of my friends showed me some castle mechs from Warhammer 40k. Yes, the Titans. Probably my favorite mechs now. They're so funny. Also, hey, who's your Jump Force main? Obviously, Yugi is the best pick, but if you answer with none, then it's off to the gulag with you.
Nah, bro, I don't have Jump Force, but if I did, it would main Rekieta, because Rekieta is hot as shit.
There you go.
I don't think she's in Jump Force, though, honestly, so I'd play Aizen. Probably.
I looked at that game and I was like, I don't know. I don't play enough games to get into it.
I feel it.
Thomas Luzon said, did Shane ever find the help he needs in the fridge? I mean, I don't think so, but that soy will self-destruct in 20 minutes. Gunnar Renee Oy says, your cadence of speech is perfect for Crab Rave. Thank you.
There's another donor real quick coming in chat because it might be late. Mystic Ashton, my boy Hero. What's up, Mystic? Hey, it's good to see you, man. Thank you for donating the stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Hessian says, reminder for Shannon, Agent Washington was literally the worst freelancer agent, the caboose of freelancers who ended up being used by the village idiot as a substitute Daikamura for church. Oh, okay.
Whoa.
That's deep lore. Raru the Red Mage says, what's an actually good resource to learn law? Law school is a good one.
Imagine that.
I mean, you can go watch law lectures from Harvard and Yale on YouTube if you want just cursory stuff, and channels like mine. When we talk about law, of course, I try to bring you really good information, and if I don't know it, I bring on experts. I'm not an idiot. I know my limitations. Guys like YouTuber Law, Leonard French, not Legal though. Don't talk to that guy. But Leonard French and YouTuber Law are good YouTube sources that are relatively entertaining. Otherwise, pick up books, read stuff by guys like Erwin Chemerinsky. Even though they're cucks, they know what they're doing. Octorian says, after watching your stream from last night, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to own another man in that way. The 13th Amendment was only originally supposed to apply to black people. and he looked pretty white. Schwann's Gruberman says, "What's your take on the 40K Space Marines game? Like the video game, Space Marines was fantastic. I wish the servers were more populated. I played it too much back in the day." Inedible Trout, but you admit you aren't on Vic's legal team for the 6th or 7th time? Fuggin gotcha bitch. Yeah, no, I'm not on it. ISJ322 says, "Jim wants on, Nick, check the fridge." Akrux says, "I just found your channel as well as Heroes recently and gotta say, loving it, man. Thank you."
Thank you.
The Coke Master says, "Congrats on the viewers. Where to start with 40K? If you're going to start with the books, the Eisenhorn trilogy is great if you want to read them. Otherwise, start with The Beast. The Beast is fantastic. The Beast was a 12 or 13 book series, which is a good primer into the show. Or you could start with Horus Rising and going through the Horus Heresy. All good places. Or the Ultramarines Omnibus or the Space Wolves Omnibus, also very good." Bad Dragonite says, "There's a smiley face and a bunch of potatoes." So that's cool. Jonathan
Nice.
Frank says, for us commoners and Funny's reaction to disabling unsub. Yeah, well, we'll have to see how that unsub button goes. Is that thing still broken?
Oh no, they actually did fix it, I believe, over 24 hours ago now. It was down maybe for 12 hours.
Okay.
Very weird though, yeah.
Inedible Trout says, "Why are there no knock-knock jokes about America? Because freedom rings." Mat Hafu Ka. Okay. Gifted Monster says, "Will La Femme Rekieta be cosplaying?" I don't cosplay. I'll go as a lawyer. ISJ322 says, "FYI, Social Blade has you over 100K subs in 351 days." Well, it'd be great to beat that, wouldn't it? But that's pretty cool. So thank you again. If you haven't subbed, please do so. And there's tons more content coming. Protoman says, "When are we arming our paramilitary group leader?" Well, we're armed with the truth. Stand with Vic says, "Variables, are you being sued? Also, please notice me. You are noticed. I'm not being sued." Blaine says, "At M Initiative claims witness of Vic harassment." That guy seems thirsty. So I can't give any credence to his claims. But, I guess if you want to keep claiming stuff that might get you dragged into court or a deposition, go do that. Forever229 says, "You'd better be wearing your blackface costume as your cosplay of choice." Yeah, I'll go as Afro Samurai. That'll be good. Seth says, "Found out my Nana just passed. She had a long, wonderful life. Chat, drink." Hey, drink to that, buddy. And I'm in the same boat that my grandmother is really not looking well these days.
I'm sorry to hear that for both of you guys.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Anonymous Bagel Goose says, "Jim Blanson, look behind you." Seamaster Flex says, "Did Shane order the code red?" I think so. Miad says, "Hey Nick, do you have the Libra Chaotica? If not, do you want one?" I do not, and I do. I do not have one. I would love one. Topher Nick says, "I didn't get a hug and kiss in Knoxville. Sorry, buddy. This was before I implemented a pro hugging and kissing policy. But at the next convention, we'll see how that goes. Scary things are scary. Let's take care of it here in Brainerd." Okay. Dan T says, "Can Rooster Teeth get in trouble for employee Jen Brown tweeting bad words about Vic?" Possibly. The dumb thing is these voice actors might be bringing their corporate entities.
Can you repeat that question real quick? I'm just curious.
Can Rooster Teeth get in trouble for their employee Jen Brown tweeting bad words about Vic?
Okay, interesting.
So,
yeah.
Rooster Teeth had played this about as perfectly as they could, but their stupid voice actors may be enough to bring them in. Certainly would be enough to bring them in for some depositions of their executives and to ask about communications that came in about that firing. Maybe not a lawsuit right away, but it all depends on discovery. Plus, if they communicated with Funimation, that would be a problem. Rick Silver says, "Rip Shane's common sense and Shane's torn up chair." That chair is not dead. That chair is undead, just like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Zealot Femto says, "It would be funny if the result of these events would cause Toei to remove Funimation's rights to Dragon Ball as a whole, assuming they get wind of this." I mean, that's funny and possible. Kyroten says, "One tweet claims funny VAs are independent contractors. How valid is this defense?" Yeah, it's great for the defense of wrongful termination, but no one's talking about doing a wrongful termination suit. It's really about the business defamation and the conspiracy. That's the problem. And agency liability through the actions of their principals, which would be the voice actors who have been delegated certain authorities under Texas law, become principals or vice principals, and that may cause the liability to companies like Funimation and Rooster Teeth. But we'll see. Rooster Teeth and Funimation may choose to settle this without going to court, because that might be the absolute smartest move they could take, depending on Vic's posture. Nova Zero says, regarding Ghost Shell Zen, why would you tick off the InfoSec community? You think lawyers are bad. You don't think messing with people who know the internet better than you is maybe a bad idea. I don't know what he's talking about there. What?
I think he's referring to the Ghost Shell Zen. I don't know. Okay, so there's a pinned post about some Roman hacktivist named Ghost Shell. And some people think that's Ghost Shell Zen, but some people also are telling me that Ghost Shell Zen is just role playing that person, and nobody really knows who that person is, this Romanian hacktivist named Ghost Shell. So I think that's what they're talking about. But I don't know. Okay. I don't think that's actually Ghost Shell Zen though, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to make the InfoSec community mad, because they're not bound by the same ethical restrictions that lawyers are.
Yeah, they got to be careful. They're going crazy.
Blaine says, NJ4K says, don't bait me, bro. Monkey Elvis says, what happens if they delete before they're served? Bad choice. Bad choice. First of all, deleting Twitter stuff. Twitter doesn't delete it. It only deletes it from the public display of Twitter. Twitter preserves tweets for the purposes of lawsuits and law enforcement. Evidence of deletions look worse typically than even really bad things in discovery. So not recommended to delete stuff in contemplation of litigation. And since you've all been informed for over a week now that litigation is on the block, and you've responded to it, so you can't even pretend that you didn't know, I would not recommend deleting a bunch of stuff trying to hide it. Inedible Trout says, Jim wants on, swipe right on Tinder. Rusco Disco says, look at that man's Adam's apple. He must be fertile. I don't know who. Are we talking about you?
Oh, yeah, you got to be careful with that. When I train jiu-jitsu, I always watch out for guillotines, because that shit is dangerous.
Yeah. Well, first of all, guillotines hurt like sin.
Yeah, they do, especially if someone's good at them.
Right, or if they have big arms. Yes, must
Luckily,
be fertile.
I got a pretty good defense.
Good. So you do jiu-jitsu then?
Yeah, BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai, and I know a little bit of judo and wrestling for takedowns. Been training about like 4.5 years.
Legal advice: don't call it BJJ on stream. Just call it jiu-jitsu. In case of a bad clip, I fight for the users.
That's true. People will definitely do shit like that. Clip it up.
I fight for the users.
Crazy stuff that they can make with the stuff I say.
Yeah, no kidding. I fight for the user says, dude, lol, Shane review. Or clap, Shane, clap, review, clap. TLJ Screwjob says, F Shannon McCormick. During Volume 6, I thought Miles and Carrie threw them Ruby Plus. We're screwing Ozpin over. Thanks to Shannon, I wish Oz was gone. I hate how I can't separate actor from character.
Oh, man. That's a rough one. I feel it, dude.
Lord Akira says, rip Killstream. Nick is our nectar now. Well, you're all welcome here. But, I hope the Killstream isn't dead. That said, of course, everybody's welcome on Rekieta Law for some smooth jazz law-splaining. No, I'm just kidding. Cat the Jedi 077 says, even though the Kick Vickers tore the anime community apart, I'm so grateful you two are able to unite us sane people together. Y'all are so amazing. Heart, I stand with Vic. You're welcome. Victor Phantasm says, Nick, in keeping with the traditions of the boss, don't forget to keep in touch with the peasant chat. When there's this many people, it is very hard to do. Plus, I have 2 guests, but I will never forget, and I will always read all of them, even if it takes me an extra hour past when everyone leaves. Matt Field says, you rock, Nikki Rackets. You're good people, man. I'm not a DB fan, but I see what you're doing for them. If anything, Lady Rackets beats Nick up. Yep. No domestic violence here. It would always come from her, because not because she's mean, but because she's tough. Stand with Vic says, they can't delete emails. Metadata would be there. Yes, it would. And a competent firm with resources will find them. If you delete when reasonably anticipating litigation, judge can instruct jury to presume a negative inference. That is correct. That is better than Shane did. Good job. Protoman says,
more water. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Protoman says, Ghost of Gamergate lives on in those who strive for the greater good like you. not the frothing mouths of culture false prophets like Jarbo and Sargoy. Well, good. Good. Anthony Tupin, bruh, seriously, bruh, you just keep getting better and better. Hey, Tony, what's up, buddy? Thank you. Bunsy the Frog says, Nick and I are longtime friends. I've known him for decades. I think I still have his Twitter handle somewhere. I added him last year sometime. Slater Danger says, I went to work the next morning tired from the stream. Oh, well, thank you for staying up to watch it. Heavy Hebrew says, Nick, your kill shot on the Turbo Dweeb last night was worthy of ascension to the Space Marines.
Turbo Dweeb.
The Emperor protects tortious injury. Windows Updater said, would you like to start your update now? Yes or yes? Seriously, though, I wasn't trying to dox your middle name on Twitter. Don't worry about it, buddy. Just post an image from a lawyer search website to show the brainlets. You weren't lying. Sorry about that. It's no problem. It is public. I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all. No issues. I had actually posted it a couple days ago as well when they were posting the MSBA website. And I was like, hey, maybe you guys should try the right one. Octorian said, Weeb Wars sounds pretty decent, but I'll have nothing to do. But it'll have nothing on the waifu wars of 2005 and 6 and 7. And Rico Beerus says, hi, Nick. Hi, Hero. This for Vic. # be there in court.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah,
be there in court. Dude, that's the funny. You know that whole story, right?
Yeah, they came out with some like, let's all be friends. Let's all be friends.
Nonsense, man. Yeah, some video and all that. I made a video talking about the Be There thing 3 days ago. I did not tell anybody. Some people accused me of like sending people to ruin their hashtag. You can watch the full video. I never told anybody to like use a hashtag. The people did what they wanted to do. They went over there and spoke their mind. They made their voice loud and clear, as they should.
Oh, of course. And if you try to create a movement, you have to anticipate that the other side will comment. Like what? Mm-hmm. What is this? We want to say our thing. I'm gonna keyboard warrior, and then if anybody comments on it other than just blind adoration or a like or a retweet, well, then they're hateful. Where do you think this is? What do you think?
They literally want the echo chamber.
Yeah, of course. They want to enforce it. That's the terrifying thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Prime Geek Collector says, Nick destroys keyboard warriors. # blame war campaign. It is entirely war campaign's fault. Joey Jojo says, seems like every other month there's a new culture war in a nerd geek space. Neo-puritanical SJWs never learn. Boobs are life, butt is hometown.
That's good.
TLJ Screwjob. So people are arguing about Vic needing to prove wrongdoing on Monica and Co. Apparently, if they were suing him, he would need to do it. But since he is suing them, they need to prove it. I'm so confused. But this is why we have you, Nick. Hey, Hero.
Hey.
Yeah, this is easy to answer. When you bring a defamation case, especially in Texas, and in most jurisdictions, not all, but most jurisdictions, the falsity of the statement is presumed by an affidavit that the statement is false. Some statement, or not necessarily an affidavit, but an allegation made under oath, you say, they said this about me, I'm saying under penalty of perjury that it's false. Now the burden, so yes, you have to prove it is false, and you do that by alleging under oath. An allegation under oath is evidence of the falsehood. So then you shift the burden to the other party who uses truth as a defense. They have to then say, no, it's true, and the burden is on them to prove the truth of it, because it's much harder to prove a falsehood than it is to prove a truth. It's a positive versus negative proof, and it only makes sense. So yes, if you allege that it's false, and that is key because some people don't allege the defamation is false, they get that wrong. But if you allege that it's false, it's presumed to be false until other evidence that comes out is better. That's how court works. Victor Phantasm says, Nick, when are you and the boss, Mr. Metokur, going to bless us with the Warhammer 40K stream? You heard Metokur say he's setting that up, so as soon as he does. Also, don't forget.
Is there a sword behind you?
It's a bayonet.
Oh, dope. Yeah, look at that.
This is a bayonet from sometime World War One. Yeah, so it's I got it in.
Oh wow! Dude, a lot of those old swords don't even actually they're stuck in there. That's impressive.
Yeah, no, the leathers, and for being 100 years old, it's in incredibly good shape. So
yeah, I have a friend who has a really old one. You just can't even pull it out of the scabbard anymore. It's literally just stuck in there. So I'm impressed right now. That's dope.
Yeah, I got it at a secondhand shop in Maui.
Good find, man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Donut just came in saying, "Hero, wash your hands, bro." This is a meme that people do on my channel. They're actually memeing it here now too. Oh my god! Don't even John Albert.
Well, you and Doug, I guess if you guys shook hands, the dirtiness would clean each other up.
Oh, is that how it works? Hey, yeah, we should. There you go.
There you go. Doug, I'm talking about is Doug TeNapel, if you're familiar with him. He's the creator of Earthworm Jim, if you remember that game.
Oh no, yeah, I do remember it though.
Yeah, he's been on my channel a few times. They call him Dirty Doug.
That's sick.
Okay. Also, don't forget the people in regular chat. Talk to us. Get our opinion and stuff. Yeah, when there's 5,000 people, it moves really fast and it's hard to follow.
Yeah, I like to have guests too, so yeah, it makes it
right. But I will never forget you, chat. I will never forget you. Cat the Jedi 077 says, "I'd love to see you guys with Ben Shapiro, Louder with Crowder, or Graham Allen. That'd be great." Well, you know, if they choose to cover it, maybe we will. Who knows? J. Patrick Poet says, "Great to see you blowing up rackets. Your channel, I mean, that's not a bomb threat, honest." Reported, #reported to Homeland Security. I've screen capped that super chat and sent it to Homeland Security and my lawyers. I will not be harassed.
Have a nice night.
Yeah, have a nice night. Top Deck Keck says, "Great job reaching 10K on Twitter." Oh, did I reach 10K on Twitter? Go me. Vic also played Tamaki from Oran Host Club. He's a ladies' man in that show and IRL. Please get Dame Pesos on the show. Yeah, I'd have Dame on. He's funny. Michael Watson says, "Make sure to use VPNs. IP grabbing can be easy." Okay. Dobu says, "Really weird how Mars Girl was also one of the first ones to shout rape in the #change the channel scandal. It's almost like she has a track record." Yeah, people like this get wrapped up in their activism and they get unwrapped up in having jobs. Michael Mascarena says, "This isn't a dumpster fire. This is a public anime Chernobyl." Daniel Duena says, "Wait, what did the guy from Rooster Teeth say about Vic?" I don't know. I haven't been following them as much. TLJ Screwjob says, "Also, Anime Outsiders' new Twitter got suspended again twice in 2 weeks." They gotta figure out what they're saying, I guess. I think Twitter's cracking down on people avoiding the suspensions, to be honest.
Dude, there's another troll dono coming in. It was freaking Raditz defeated Goku, and dude, Raditz was not even in the movie, bro.
No, he defeated Goku. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Is he maybe in Heroes? Maybe in Heroes.
No, I think he's messing with me. Because some people were saying about like Raditz being. It's just some long story. Whatever. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Raditz, if he had not been stupid, he could have been more powerful than Goku.
That's true.
The Stealth Hispanic said, "With all this stuff going on, I can't wait till a lot of these stupid high school Twitter idiots get run over by reality." I also dropped another 20 to the GoFundMe. Thank you so much for that.
Good job, man. Thank you.
And Musid says, "Q is a LARP." He may be. Luck T says, "Thanks for your work and passion. You single-handedly brought hope to a large community and improved people's opinion of attorneys." Well, don't get too improved an opinion of attorneys. Just one. Just one. "You almost motivate me to go to law school, although I only do IP. I'm licensed to practice before the USPTO." Hey, congratulations on that. IP is an animal that I don't mess with, but I have a lot of respect for people who do. Eyes of the Wolf 101 says, "Hey Nick, how did you get into Warhammer 40K and what's your favorite army and why?" I got into Warhammer 40K by working and walking to Barnes & Noble on my lunch breaks and buying Eisenhorn's Omnibus. My favorite army is probably Grey Knights, but I don't play. If I was going to play, I'd play either Grey Knights or Custodes. Zero Depressive says, "Nick is so based he can turn alien blood into water." Zypher Warrior says, "Last night was a big raffle mayo wrapped in sadness." It was sad though, wasn't it? Like
it was a little bit sad, actually. Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, it's always fun to watch someone just immolate themselves, but you always hope that's what you've got. That's it. That's what this is all about. Is what you had the opportunity. I mean, think about what that guy had. An unexpected opportunity to talk to one of the largest live audiences talking about this particular issue. Mm-hmm. He could have talked to 5,000 people and come out with anything, and that's what he brought. What a sad situation that guy was.
That's a waste.
Ozymandias says, "Glad your streams are doing great, Nick, but it's bitter to know that YouTube gassed the kill stream. 10:05 Eastern weeknights on StreamMe app in the Play Store." Yep, it was sad. I did a show with them after that happened, and definitely check them out on StreamMe. Keck7Go says, "Hi, Jim. 40K stream when? Can I join? Who's your favorite Chaos God, favorite Loyalist, and favorite and Traitor chapter? Can I call you Daddy number 2? Nick will always be the number 1. Sorry I didn't get to that on the stream, Keck. But hopefully Jim will see it at some point. Michael Watson says, I'm worried, don't get swatted, VPN proxy, etc. Yeah, I mean, I hope it never happens, but I would like to say I'm trying to be prepared for anything like that.
If you're really, really, really worried, you can even contact your local PD and just kind of talk about it.
Yeah, I'm that's on the menu this week, actually, because it wasn't, but it is now.
Unfortunately.
But I'm a little bit harder to find, and no, that's not a challenge. And if you do happen to find me, please be quiet about it. But I took some steps to try and make that a little bit more difficult. Bird Lover says, tell him that Real Ross is on StreamE/Godspeed Live. Also, congrats, Nick, new king of late night. Well, thank you very much. Neglisax says, hey Jim, how does it feel that at this very important moment there are over 5,000 people in the chat ready to suck you off? Well, I'm sure he would be flattered by that. Mithrin Emrys says, I'll have you know I was once in the same building as Vic for a whole day. We're basically related, BFFs forever. These chats are still 2 hours ago, by the way.
Oh,
so
wow.
If at any time you need to buzz out,
I probably will in about 5-10 minutes around midnight.
Yeah, and for anyone in the chat, you will not offend me if you leave, but if you stay, I will read all of them because that's the agreement that we have, right? SMS Corks 89 says, Shane wanted Vic to bend the knee. Also, ever heard of the pound of flesh exchange? I give you a pound of my flesh, you give me a pound of yours. Yeah, I've heard of it. And I don't know that was, I think what they want is you give me a pound of your flesh and then you give me another pound. That's what they seem to want. Chambers of My Heart says he was in my server doing it, Nick. That's talking about, Shane was in this person's server. I have some of the Rangers, the Rising Bull Rangers as mods. How embarrassing for him. Dark Eternal 6 says Shane is a solipsist. Nothing is real but him. Blaine says Shane has claimed to be part of the tribunal which exiled Vic and has been seen taking over marquee threads, white knighting her. She's not going to sleep with you, bro. Forever229 says, I'll have you know, shoe is a rare delicacy where I come from. It's related to the shoe that was on the cutting board in the background.
Yeah, that's weird.
AMV Spawn donated with no message. Thank you. Barrett Onderock says, pretty sure Shane's little quote, did things I regret 20, 30 years ago, creep show aside, was in response to a super chat that called him a cuck. Think about it. Also, hello, Jim and Hero.
What's up? How's it going?
Jim says hi. Phoenix 96 says, apparently X can vouch and send evidence for the Discord being a thing. Have $5 in the meantime. Thank you so much. Keys Dave 08 says, Shane's a cuck who's trying to white knight for his girlfriends who friend zoned him, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Mithrin Emmer says, Wheeze, I got you because you wheeze is just speculating lulz wheeze. You is not Vic's lawyer lulz wheeze. James Mansfield says, I watched that 3-hour stream 8 times in the last day.
Holy smokes.
Good for you, buddy. Kid 2000 says, Nick, great show. Yesterday was a classic stream. Also, Jim, please come home to Ralph's chat and drop in unexpectedly. He misses you and it shows. You complete him and you can't quit the gunt. Please, Jim.
3 hours. That's 24 hours, right? Isn't that? I see what you did there. It's a little clever.
Yeah. Jospy says, glad you made a fool of that clown. Great moves, Nick Rackets. Proud of you. Thank you. Rando number 9 says, attempt to say this in Kraut's accent. Oh God, can you do a German accent?
No, only Scottish, unfortunately.
I can't at this point in time. Twitter law experts, please respond. Twitter law experts, please respond. I don't know if that's good, but we'll go.
Not bad. I don't know if it's German, but it was not bad.
It was something European. Forever229 says, real lawyer cucks man live on stream. Hashtag or hyphen the hub. Jesse N says, careful, Mundane Matt was in the chat. He may flag. That's not actually Mundane Matt. He's busy lifting heavy boulders. Code King MSS says, don't forget that moron admitting to doing and covering up the kind of crap they're accusing Vic of. Yeah, that was a weird play. Weird flex, bro. Jonathan Frank says, Vag Squad are all sovereign citizens. Bet. I wouldn't take that bet for a second. AMV Spawn says, Nick, you're a boss, my friend. Thank you so much. Nick Horton says...
That's funny. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, Nick Horton. Yeah, I know him.
He says, Monica Rial, not my Bulma.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, she's the new Bulma. JD 1989 says, Nick, can you look into Ryan Kopf? Ryan is the chairman of Anime Midwest and Con Alt Delete in Chicago. He is one of the con chairmen that kicked Vic. Mr. Kopf is a convicted statutory rapist. That's interesting.
What's his name?
Ryan Kopf, Kopf.
Thank you. Interesting. Yeah, look into that.
Fished Guy 11 says, unrelated, but how do I get into Warhammer 40K? I think I answered that, but yeah, go. You gotta buy the books, man. Buy an omnibus and sit down for some cozy reading. TK donated and said, who knew one day I would be glued to a law channel on YouTube? Keep up the good fight. Glad to see Hero Hei here. Yeah, me too.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you, Nick, for having me.
Oh, of course. It's been fun so far. AMV Spawn says, thanks to Sean and Chris for letting a few feminists steal our childhood from us for money, and they say they're good people. Yeah, right. Eric Burnman says, Twitter is the unholy womb hole of the universe, birthing soy-infected creatures of chaos. You are Lord Inquisitor of the Ordo Reketas. Their first champion was Derp AF. Will you forge onward? Of course I will. I will always forge onward. JBJ Blaze and TFA says, I watched a couple of your videos tonight on Vic and Funimation and feel hopeful for the future of Ed Elric's voice again. Also, well done versus Kick Vic. My pleasure. Internet Tab says, the lol suit. Now that was some good time. Soup. Chair Destroyer. Oh, we got Shane in the chat apparently.
As the username of the dono?
Yeah. As a seasoned destroyer of chairs, I feel compelled to enlighten you that you do that by repeatedly sitting on one or more feet, then moving them out when they get uncomfortable. P.S. I need a new chair. Half of the foam is gone. I think it rebelled.
Nice.
Kellen Miller says, Jim, I don't always drink garbage vodka, but when I do, I still don't let my sober girlfriend drive because she's Asian and a woman and still more likely to crash than me. Oh my goodness. Anthony Tupin says, you really are not helping my insomnia. Sorry, buddy. We'll switch to ASMR later. A border prince.
Actually, you like gin, right? I think I heard you say.
I do. I do like gin.
I had Beefeater. That's all I have.
My favorite gin that I've had so far is it was Heyman's Old Tom Gin. I've got the bottle somewhere, but it's a gin that's like styled in how they would have made gin back in like the 1400s or something like that. It's very, very good. Apparently, you can buy it locally in England, but I don't know where you can buy it in the States. Someone sent it to me.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, a border. But I also have some Hawaiian gins and some Finnish gins that Keck has sent me.
So you're into some like exotic gin then, huh? Like not the traditional like Beefeater, Bombay, all that.
I mean, I don't have anything opposed. I tried. I had some Blue Sapphire or New Amsterdam. I like to drink my drinks neat. I don't do mixed drinks typically, and I think it was New Amsterdam, and that was it was bad. It was bad by itself.
Some gin is made to be like more mixed in, isn't it? Though.
Yeah, and
I drink my scotch the same way you do. I mean, you don't even put ice in it, do you?
Right. No ice, no, and room temperature typically.
I will put a little water in mine though. Sometimes room temp water and dilute it a little bit. That's
it. Some people like that. I just drink it neat because it's easier. A Border Prince Warhammer lore. Hey buddy, welcome to the chat. He says, I'm no weeboo, but I'm fascinated by this crazy GG.
Well, you hopefully become a weeboo because it's awesome. Just saying.
There you go. Mega Vigoroth says, I only found your channel because of the Vic situation, but I'm glad I found it. I'm glad you found it too. Lazarian444 says, that guy from yesterday wanted to invite Vic back to cons on the condition that he had to grovel. He had to confess his sins. Vic has to fight this. Well, we talked about the law firm, and there's something coming. We'll see. Count Dracula says, Hero Hei, you just earned a sub, mate. I saw a couple of your Vic vids already. You are very aware of yourself and don't talk over Nikki Rackets. Other guests are self-absorbed autism.
Yo, thank you very much, man. That's a very nice message. Thank you. And thank you for supporting the stream here with Nick as well. Don't know.
Yeah, thanks. Fetus the Patty says, loving the Minnesota stream. Rick Moranis, one of my favorite actors, mainly because of his role in what was it? Little Shop of Horrors. And My Blue Heaven. YouTube's going to come after you eventually. Take my shekels while you still can. I will. I hope they don't. Well, one, because I hope they don't, and two, because I don't want to have to like bring suit against them. Because I know lawyers who are chomping at the bit to take down someone like YouTube for suppressing speech. The Stealth Hispanic says, EVS says, don't talk to these people, don't harass them. Anti-Comicsgate says, look, he's telling his fans to harass us. I want to get off this crazy train. I want them thrown the hell off of it. Or I want them thrown the hell off of it. Yeah, it's insane. Sakaki Onsai says, that con that dropped Markey was SC Comic-Con in Greensboro, South Carolina. I'm hoping she'll be dropped from more here in the future. Emerald City Comic-Con, for example. Maybe. Jorge Blanco says, I would be very thankful if I could listen to tomorrow's news stream in the morning, Jim. Pub Test says, will we see a voice actor screaming garbage human from the stage to Vic fans? Please let it happen. Oh, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? X, the Herald X says, won't be surprised that the cons start cutting ties with many from Funimation in general. They want people to buy their trap hentai body pillows, not potential conflict. Heavy Hebrew says, Nick, does Shane Holmberg have a 13th Amendment violation against you after you owned him so hard last night? I mean, only if he Elizabeth Warrens his test and comes out 1/10/24 black. The Last says, question for Hero Hei. Do you think there's going to be a lot of cosplay of Rays in the Shield Hero with Vic Mignogna's head?
Of Rays from Shield Hero?
That's what they said.
Who's Rays from Shield Hero? I mean, I can see Naofumi is the main character. I mean, I could see people cosplaying like Naofumi with Vic's head on it. But Rays? I don't know who that is actually. Which I unfortunately don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no.
How do they spell Rays? R-A-Z?
No, R-A-I-S-E, like Rays.
R-A-I-S-E.
Yeah.
What did they?
I don't know. Is there going to be a lot of cosplay of Rays and the Shield Hero with Vic Mignogna's head? Could be some typo in there.
Yeah, it might be a typo. I mean, I definitely see him as Naofumi. That's like the main meme.
I've heard Shield Hero is very controversially popuper. So,
yeah, more so when it first came out, because episode 1 definitely caused a lot of outrage from people. But it's a really good anime. I mean, you know, if there's outrage, it's probably good, honestly.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it sometime. I watched the first season of Baki on Netflix, and I want them to drop the rest of it.
Is that the Baki the Grappler?
Yeah, the animation sucks, but the story is just so stupidly funny.
I haven't seen it, but I'm wanting to start it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, well, I watched the OVA of Baki back in like '97 or whenever it came out. And so then to see it like pop back up into mainstream culture was just really weird to me.
Oh wow, yeah. I guess it would be.
Because I don't.
I will be heading out in just a second, man.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. Yeah.
Just want to try to get early. You know, this news stuff's been crazy, so
yeah. Honestly, thanks for hanging out, and tell people where they can find you. Absolutely.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it is Hero Hei, HeroHei, just like it's spelled in the title over here on YouTube. You type it in there or on Google, and it'll pop up. That'd be awesome. Yeah, if you guys liked it, then
yeah, go check it out. He's been covering a ton of this Vic stuff. Very, very good coverage, and I will add it to the description of the video here for the replay. I will add it, of course, down in the box. I'll put it up top or whatever. So definitely go check it out. Well, and thanks for coming on tonight, man. I was kind of worried because I was really tired, and having a co-host was very, very helpful. So thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure. It seemed like it worked out. Yeah, I think people enjoyed the stream. So yeah, it was all good, and hopefully we can work again in the future.
Of course, man. Talk to you later, buddy.
How do I leave? Oh, I see it up top.
Yeah, you just hit the hang up.
Peace, Nick, and peace, stream. Thank you guys again. I will hopefully see you around. And yeah, thanks for the massive support. I'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, later, buddy. Okay, next says Nicholas Horton says DBS Broly got 1 billion in the UK box office. Rax the Hero says kick him and bring in the DBZ abridged voices. Michael Mascarena says they took it from Ocean Dub. They can send it back. Simpleton Apollo says, thank you for being a GD light in the dark of all this stuff. I'm so tired of men having their lives ruined on a GD whim. Me too, buddy. Me too. Mother Superior says, is Vic suing? Well, I mean, he is pursuing legal action. And let me be clear on that. I don't know that Vic will sue. I'm not leaving, guys. That was just Hero is leaving. I've still got so many chats to read. So you can still stay through all of those. I don't know that Vic is going to sue or not, but legal action doesn't always manifest in lawsuits. I think there are certain people that are on the chopping block, certain disparaging publications, maybe IO9, Anime News Network, and certain little Twitter warriors out there who just passed on a bunch of stuff and don't have any professional ties to Vic and might not have anything of value for Vic. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Did Funimation start this investigation long before Kickvic? Yes, they did, and they came up inconclusive. It's okay if you can't answer. Love your work. Helps me. Also, hey, Jim and Hero. Mega Vigoroth says, Bin Shimada voiced Broly both times, and Dispo, should Vic voice the bunny? Okay, I don't know. Daryl says, I heard that DBZ got Japanese government funding to come back because of how it stimulates the economy. I'm sure they won't put up with this stuff. Ron Elm 2000 says archive.fox or whatever. I did a thing. Thank you. Acid Blade 21 says diehard anime fans will never forget what Funimation has done. I personally will never again support Funimation. Their damage is done. S Cybertaz says live Jim is best Jim. Next stream, you magnificent potato American. Shane is it sounds like tonight. He's got some Proton coming out. Shane is the DSP of convention bookers. Flick those bean counters. Adam Wooford says, what the owners took Dragon Ball to Netflix and cast Vic and have all new voice casts, would that be the end of Funimation? I don't know. Mega Vigoroth says, Bin Shimada voiced Broly both times as well as Dispo. They should let Vic, that stupid bunny. Mega Vigoroth says, Mars Girl did say she had more targets. Of course she does. She's a professional Twitterer. Plantation Sensation says, Guy looking at Butterfly, is this the kill stream? No, this is not the kill stream. Ravelin1 says, the anti-Vic VAs at all don't get that. It's far too late to avert real-world consequences. Internet bullies everywhere should take note. Bonsai Nick, take note. Bonsai Nick, thank you. Daryl says, was there people photoshopping evidence against Vic? That was alleged in a Facebook chat. I don't know if they actually did it or not. Klondike Pete says, don't forget Vox and IndieGoGo. And I kind of did and kind of didn't forget it. I can briefly talk about that. We'll take a quick break from the super chats. Vox Dei is suing IndieGoGo, and is not me. Vox's team found this paragraph, which I'm going to read and very quickly explain because this is funny, and I teased this earlier. Campaign owners are charged a service fee as a portion of the contributions they raise, the service fees. The service fees are effective on the date that the service fees are posted and may be then current rate in connection receiving. Notice they have a typo there. It should be in connection to receiving. In connection receiving contributions from contributors. Campaign owners, this is the important part. Campaign owners appoint IndieGoGo as the campaign owner's limited agent for the sole purpose of receiving, holding, and settling for the principal, who is the campaign creator, which means they have no right, no matter what they say in their terms of use. Oh, we have right to discontinue service at any time. If you appoint them as your agent and they terminate your money, that's a breach of fiduciary duty. It is a breach of the agent-principal relationship. It's a breach of their terms of use. This is a horrifying mistake to have in your terms of service, because an agency owes a duty under law to the principal, and to violate that is at worst it's at best it's negligent. At best it's negligent. And so thank you, Vox, for pointing that out. Hopefully you collect money. If anybody else's IndieGoGo for any reason at all was canceled for any of it, if there was money in that IndieGoGo and they have not transferred it to you, Martina Marcota, talk to me, girl. If you have money sitting in an IndieGoGo and they have not transferred it to you, they are your agent and they owe it to you. And if they don't give it to you, they're done. And believe me, they have an uphill climb, and these people are not prepared for the litigation that's coming. So I will keep you posted as much as possible on the results of Vox's lawsuit. It is arbitration, so there's always a weird thing, but there are firms out there who will try and fight that arbitration clause, who will bring them to court. If you need a referral to a firm that would take something like this, if you know anybody on an IndieGoGo campaign that got canceled, and you need a referral to a real law firm that will rip this apart, message me. I would love to get you in contact with someone who will bury them in litigation. So good job, IndieGoGo. Way to have a brilliant terms of service. Martina Marcota, if you happen to see this or if anybody knows her, has a line to her, please let her know that I would love to talk about this little gem, because I understand they are holding something like $40,000 of her money. And I bet there's a lawyer out there who would love to get their hands on that and have their fees paid for by IndieGoGo. Thank you for reminding me of that, Klondike Pete. PWK says, with all the whales Warski is hunting lately, hashtag Guntgate has begun, hashtag Gunt Hunt. Behold the whale wars. Kit I deduce says, so I like Vic and I'm sad Funny kicked him out. I like my childhood anime. I like Ruby. Yet destroying a livelihood is awful. Do I boycott or is it okay to still feed the machine? Conflicted. Why don't you give it a week or two? See what happens. See how things are going. John Albert says, Hero, do you know about Shane's letter from Ruby? He did say yes. True American Hero says, do Roe versus Wade. You promised. Yes, I will do it at some point. This other stuff has just been very interesting. Angel of Death Diver says, NJ4K referred to magistrate as one that makes the laws and that he was your proclaimed equal. Well, he can proclaim whatever he wants. He's demonstrated his own inability. AMV Spawn says, please get Mars Girl on the show. Please, Nick. She's not going to come on the show. I hope she has the presence to not think that would be a good idea. But I can tell you, Mars Girl, if you want to come on the show, I will treat you with dignity and respect and let you have your position, and I will have mine. Mystic Ash says, hey, my boy Hero. Internet Tab says, all hail the Southern Poverty Call Center and Pastor Raul Cheeto. Angel of Death Diver says, side note, voice actress Megan Albach passed away today, age 44. Hashtag gone too soon. I don't know if she's cool or not. That's just really young. Nicholas Horton says, it's been an interesting stream, and hi Hero Hei. Thank you for that. Schwanz Gruberman says, hey Nick, I've played the Space Marines game and loved it, but how would I get into 40K? Where would I start and what book should I read? Just buy an omnibus. Space Wolves, Ultramarines, Eisenhorn, or like I said, start with the Beast Saga, which is really fun. Starscream 1540, what's wrong with Legal Eagle? I just don't like that his channel looks exactly like I'd expect it to. I also don't like that he's advertising a how to succeed in law school service and not really disclosing it. That's weird to me. But, he can do him. Kellen Miller says, watch Legal Eagle and liked it. Going to get him to do a daddy no. Then we will know who the better YouTube lawyer is. Don't make me fight him. I don't want to fist fight him. Hessian says, the Imperial truth is nice, but can we be armed with heavy bolters and bane blades as well? Always. Bane blades and shadow swords, of course. And earth shakers. Raru the Red Mage says, guess I'm going to hit the books. Thanks, Nick. You're welcome. Devil Trigger DMC says, glad I finally got your attention. I was beginning to feel a little ignored. Dante DMC, joking, didn't actually feel ignored. Hashtag jackpot. Jonathan Frank says, me plus 5 others. Funi site still broken, not fixed still. There you go. MMA Force says, I love your videos, Nick. Funny and educational. Thank you. I try to do that. I work very hard at it. I'm glad you enjoy them. AFG Anon says, I'm curious as to what's going to happen since DB Super Broly and Gogeta should be the next characters to release on Dragon Ball FighterZ. They use the Japanese versions of those, don't they? Japanese voices. I don't know who does voices for FighterZ. Devin Grant says, domestic violence is free marriage counseling. JP Garcia says, I stand with Vic from the Philippines. Thank you. Fetus the Patty says, also, RMNEU, Robert Middle Names Rise Up. Robert Middle Names Rise Up. Oh, there you go. Nick Rawls 08 says, one of Vic's roles that's easy to cosplay is probably from my favorite anime, Skip Beat. You just have to show up in a suit, wig, and glasses, and Vic was specifically picked for the role in the Kickstarter for the dub. Keck7Go says, hey, best and worst Ruby ship. Sorry, missed that one. John Albert says, Hero, wash your hands. Tater Boob says, I managed to cancel my Funimation account before the unsubscribe button broke, but who should people be contacting about that? Better Business Bureau. Again, I would say wait a week or two and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, you could contact Better Business Bureau. You could contact Funimation. They'd probably just, help you cancel or do a refund if you tried to cancel and stuff like that. Slater Danger says, Raditz defeated Goku in Super Movie. Kikagazumi says, off topic, but Rotten Tomatoes just dropped the want to see percentage because of Captain Marvel being at 28%. Effing low. Their damage control is so pathetic. It's been transparent and it's really a shame. Brian Williams says, Nick, now you have to beat Battletoads and start doing smooth jazz law streams. You need to stop making these promises. I do need to do the 24-hour stream, which is coming up. Again, it's just hard to schedule with the 5 kids, but as soon as possible, I will have it. Taco God Boom Dog says, why shouldn't I commit look at with Legal Eagle? I don't know. Nick Ralzo 8 says, $2 for Hayes and Nick's best Owarida. Owarida. I don't know how that's supposed to sound. John Albert says Horus did nothing wrong. It was all Magnus's fault. No way, Magnus did nothing wrong, and you know it. It was Lorgar. That guy's a punk. Donut Swan says, oh hey, I've been watching this Hero Guy's videos. Besides his intro sequence, they're all really good. I don't even really like anime. Mr. Joshua 93 says, fun. They enjoyed those 50 pieces of silver. Yep. Victor Phantasm says, Nick, have you finished the super chats? Parentheses. It's Wednesday already. Almost there. Angel of Death Diver. We've still got the Stream Me chats to do as well. Have not forgotten. Angel of Death Driver says, I recommend having a look at Chamber of Hearts' recent tweet on Shane. Radames Valles Vila. Don't give me these words to pronounce that aren't English. I'm not good at it. Thank you for everything. Please help everybody with your knowledge. Love the stream. Thank you, Nick. Very cool. You're welcome, buddy. Very much. Unreal End Gaming. I stream every night. When's the next Vic stream? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what tomorrow's night is, but as soon as if there's more information, you'll know right away. Car just says, hey Nick, found your channel by following the Vic situation. You stream while I'm at work, but listened all stream yesterday and today. Thank you very much. Phoenix Lord Asterman says, what's your favorite Xeno faction, Nick? Answer carefully, or I will give you to the Dark Eldar. Well, it's not the Dark Eldar, that's for sure. I think you want me to answer Eldar, and I will answer Eldar because when I was a kid and I saw 40K for the first time, Eldar was the coolest looking models, in my opinion, and I still like them. And the Phoenix Lord lore is pretty cool. Also, they have the Black Library. Blaine says, Shane, hold on while I pour myself some liquid courage. Gets soy jug from fridge. How embarrassing. Something in like, what is it? Russian? I don't know how to read that. Says, good work on covering the whole Vic story. Russian anime community sends their regards. Thank you very much. I wish I could read whatever that is. SJ Jar Jar Binks says, do you really think they'll settle with Vic or drag it out in an attempt to drain him financially and emotionally? I mean, having a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe already at 70K, I think Funimation, and probably with pressure from Sony, has huge motivation to settle. So we'll see. I mean, we're dealing with SJW nutters here, but at the end of the day, they're still business. The VAs can drown themselves with SJW nonsense. The business can't. They can't do it. They get woke. They go broke. Over and over, they're seeing it happen. Kiash the Pally. Are your DMs open? Yes, they are. I have a question people are overlooking in both this and Comicsgate as well. Okay. Kit I do says, wait, if you could voice a character, who would it be? It would be either Piccolo or Vegeta. Those are my favorite characters. Plus, I can do the voices okay. Devil Trigger DMC says, for you see, Prince, you're not dealing with the average Saiyan warrior anymore. Leo Breaker 49 says, evening, Nick. Shield Hero isn't controversial. We just had a lot of chumps complaining for nothing. Nothing's actually controversial. And let's be very clear. Nothing is really controversial. All of the people offended, outside of maybe 2 on any situation, are LARPing. Which Japan called them out for. Of course, Japan called them out for it. They're all role-playing this stuff. Just think, the most butthurt people about racism are white. They're white people offended for black people because black people, according to them, don't know how to deal with racism. That's their high opinion of minorities, is that the minorities need them to be offended for them. Excitable Boy says, my face when Vic sues Funny so hard he wins the rights to something. But yes, that would be hilarious. Mickey the Time Lord Arctic says, the crazy thing is since the Vic thing happened, has dropped an atom bomb even in Hollywood. Daryl says, way to finish the super chats. Your actions are honorable and show you actually care. I really do. I appreciate the dedication you show to your fans. How do you have time to do this with your family and job? It's tough. That's why I do it late at night, and with less sleep every day. Blaine says, link to Emmett info in DM. Thank you so much. Stream Me chats. Here we go. Just making sure I've got all of them. We've got Wield the Chains. This is actually from yesterday after the stream. He says, I just got here now. What a shame. Heard someone got annihilated. Way to go, sir. Really looking forward to watch the archive. Vic kicks back. Pharaoh Owen says, and if that archive doesn't work on Streamy, it is still up on YouTube and will be forever. Pharaoh Owen says, Nick, is it okay to play Space Wolves? Here, I'll bring this over because I'll stop looking at this awkwardly. Is it okay to play Space Wolves? I want to break the heretic spine over my knee, but I don't want to be a furry. Juan 48 Jang Jang. 148 Jang Jang. Okay, that's a Space Wolves joke, y'all. I guess it's okay to play Space Wolves. I'm not a big fan. I think they're too stereotypically Viking, and that bothers me about it. But you do you, buddy. You do you. But don't go full Wolfen. Just stick with the Nico Space Wolves, not the Wolfen ones. LGBTQCR pedophile. I am glad you discovered after killing an N-word that your white friends are just as bad and just as bad in prison. Okay. What is your favorite Pokemon to rape? That'd be Jigglypuff, I guess. Pharaoh Owen says, I know Jim. Jim and I used to do all kinds of stuff that was not okay in the early 2000s. I can invite Jim onto 1488 streams right now if he will just groom me. LGBTQCR pedophile says, hey, Jim, are you a fan of hanging with Mr. Cooper? And is that racist these days? LGBTQCR pedophile says, you look like effing Spedward Norton. Yeah, I get that a lot. I don't see it, but there you go. Miss Pumpernickel says, what's your take on the Knoxville aftermath? You know, it's really disheartening. I don't know what's going on. I have not been able to keep up with that field, but I like all of those guys, so it's a shame to see any sort of fighting going on. Loops, and guys, this is Stream Me. If you're ever interested in how Stream Me chats go, please feel free to check me out on Stream Me as well. Lots of fun over there in the same way that there's lots of fun over on YouTube. Miss Pumpernickel says, what's your take on, oh wait, I read that one. Loops says, my gym senses were tingling, so I checked Stream Me, but alas, no gym. So I settled for Rekieta and got gym anyways. The light shines. Oh, glad to be your second choice, buddy. Thank you. Jolly Jumping Jigaboo. Well, that seems like that's an offensive name. Says, Nick, I'm sorry to tell you, but I read 5 Wikipedia articles. I'm basically a super lawyer now. Debate me. Okay, buddy. Aelid says, oh, with a huge donation on Stream Me. Thank you so much. Says, please forward a reasonable part of this to the Vic case. I don't trust Patreon. Also, make sure everyone knows green is the best color. If you don't like Patreon, check me out on New Project 2, which is Dick Masterson's project, Patreon alternative. I am fully functional over there. More features are being added by Dick every month or week or month or whatever. So if you do want to support me, you can do so either on Stream Me, the subscribe button there. You could super chat or chat through Stream Me, or you could do it on Patreon. If you want me to donate, I cannot give it to the GoFundMe, but I can and will be making a donation privately to that. I just can't do it to the GoFundMe because they consider that fraudulent. So Internet Tab says, did you think I would forget about here? No, buddy, I had no doubts at all. Thank you for joining me on Stream Me. And then there were just a couple more chats that came in on YouTube, and then we're going to wrap up the show. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. Name withheld says, SJWs are like, oh, consequences to false accusations. Surprise Pikachu face. Yep. They think you can just ruin it. That's how they've been operating. Anon says, do you fear your speculation somewhat helps Vic's conspirators establish a defense? No, not at all. Because I'm just that drunk blackface lawyer. Just that drunk blackface lawyer. Just a dummy on the internet. Just a YouTube moron who doesn't ever know what's going on, doesn't know the law, never write about anything. just that dumb Dumb, drunk, can't practice, probably never been to court, YouTube lawyer who knows nothing about nothing. Me, the non-lawyer voice actor who's happy to just drop defamation all over Twitter all day. I know better than that dumb, drunk lawyer because he's on YouTube. And you can't be on YouTube and also be a successful practicing attorney. Neither, those are mutually exclusive. He's probably committing ethics violations and all that stuff. What does he know, right? Keep it up, guys. You're doing really well for yourselves. You're doing really well for yourselves. Maybe check the track record, y'all. Maybe check the track record. Also, could Monica reasonably press charges against any of those harassers' tweets she screenshotted? Good luck. Good luck, Monica Rial. You are a verified Twitter person. They are not. What threats and harassment? You could block them. Just block them. Just block them if they're harassing you. You didn't take steps to remediate it. They have a good claim. Good. Did you even ask them to stop? You're on a public forum. That's like someone on the sidewalk across the road saying, "Hey, Rial, you suck." And you saying, "I'm calling my lawyer." Did you tell him to stop? Did you try that one? That'd be the first step if you want to sue him, but you won't listen. I mean, obviously, I don't know everything tweeted to this person. Obviously, I don't. But it's gonna be hard, man. It's gonna be hard. She's got a blue check. If I were in court, I would be arguing automatically that, if it suited my case, I'd be arguing automatically that a blue check is a public figure, as verified by Twitter. Of course, if I were representing the blue check, I'd be saying that obviously that's not true. But that's how it goes. You can make a strong argument that a blue check is a public figure, according to the court, and it makes it very hard for them to do that. You're also discussing about things involved in commerce because it's their job, which is highly protected. So, Monica Rial, definitely sue all of them. Sue all of them. Sue them in Texas and see how that goes. Ask Stormy Daniels how it goes. Hire Michael Avenatti to do the lawsuit. That'd be great. That'd be great. It'll work out well for you. Eric Burnman says, I think you got so many super chats that some of mine got dropped. Lol, plus minus 2 hours ago. I'll try again some other time. Spoiler, it involved 40K. I don't think so, but if it did, buddy, I'm really, really sorry. There's so many. I hope I didn't miss any. If Streamlabs didn't pick it up, I won't have it. But I think it's been picking them up pretty faithfully, so I hope not. SJ Jar Jar Binks says, I'll challenge you with my Nurgle if you're ever free. I would love to play 40K, but I might buy a Kill Team set because that's a little bit less of an investment and a little bit less of a playtime. So maybe we could do that. Thank you all for joining me. We were trending on Twitter, or not on Twitter, YouTube's live the past 2 days. Massive audiences. I love it. Please like and subscribe and share. The comedy and content will not stop. If you ever need somewhere to park at night, I am here every weeknight at 11 p.m. Central, and I have different content. We have different and exciting guests all the time. If you know someone who wants to be on the show or whatever, have them get in contact with me. Always happy to entertain people. You can check out the links to find me on everywhere else in the description. I'm not going to shill all that. Do check out the merch. There is, by the way, there's going to be a petulant little jerk shirt and mug coming. That's got to happen. Also, I do have a Twitch, and I should do it more. I just haven't had time to do Twitch. But thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks to Streamy, as always, for being there and keeping it 100 with the free speech chat. Always happy to have you guys. Love that you're able to say whatever you want. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace.